How's it going? My name is William, and this is my so-called life.
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife, with new fashion excitement that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew
Sewing machine by Singer.
Touch and Sew.
Another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow
Is at Singer today.
They're just touching Touchtronic memory machines.
Incredible.
I'm Polly Bergen. Only Singer makes machines this easy to use. Touch. The memory remembers your stitch pattern instantly. Touchtronic speed control remembers to adjust your fabric thickness.
What about basting?
Touch. Great. You can forget about your sewing machine and concentrate on sewing. The Touchtronic memory machine family. Come take a test, Touch.
Yay! Hello, everybody! I always forget how to remove that. How's it going? My name is William, and welcome to the House of Sewing. Welcome to my so-called life. It is Monday, but regardless, if you've made it here, I thank you. How's it going, Alibaba? A 404 is better. Great to see you, Butterfly. Great to see you as always. But before we get to the festivities, this program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, lack thereof, race, gender, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so-called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every single human being on planet Earth. Hello, everybody. Is the girl in the commercial the same actress that played Tabitha on Bewitched? That's a really good, on which commercial? On the first one? That's a really good question. Do you know, I've watched that commercial hundreds of times. I am numb to the Touch and Sew commercial at this point. You know what's so funny? I left the exits out on purpose. I did, to see if Skits was paying attention. Hi, Skits. But if you're having a bad day, if you need an Activia, hey, I'll give you a hug. But with that being said, we have exits on both sides. That's izquierda and derecha. I hope everybody has a great evening flying my so-called life airlines. You will notice my lights are a little bit low. It's for two reasons. One, because it's hot. And two, because my bill was so hot, I touched my bill and my hands went psh. Oh, I'm about to get I'm gonna break down and get solar everything. I'm gonna have a solar car. I think the second lady took over as Madge, the Palmolive lady that soaks her hands. Oh, see, that's nostalgia for me. I remember my grandfather watching television and being like, the good old days, the good old days. I have turned into that early. I think it's because we have all this information in front of us, I hope everybody's having a good evening. So I finished the coat. That I started the other day. And, well, I haven't necessarily finished it. I still need to line the bottom. I haven't decided what to do with the collar, what to line it with necessarily. When I say line, I just mean the outsides. But we'll see. We will see this evening. We will see. Absolutely, absolutely. Yikes. Yikes. I am so sorry, Butterfly. I have a cough, but it's just from my bad habits. Do you know what? I was trying to not bring back, what day it is, but I think I should. So today is Eat Your Veggies Day, and I promise there will be sewing soon. Take your cat to work. Let me tell you, if you took your cat to my job, everybody would stop talking and just look at you like, are you lost? And of course, because I brought it up earlier today is the day of the Battle of Bunker Hill in Boston, and it looks like the Boston Celtics are about to win the championship. I think another wave is coming around. It's I think so too. It's pretty bad here. I'm the boring guy. I still wear a mask. Today is Iceland Independence Day, and if you ask yourself, who did they free themselves from? Denmark. Today is also National Apple Strudel Day, National Dump the Pump Day. Don't listen to them. We're going to need our cars. Okay, so also, today is Venus Williams' birthday. And one of the reasons that Venus Williams is important to me is because I have insomnia. I have real life insomnia, and I have most of my life. Because of that, I've watched Venus Williams' entire career. She was in the Australian Open, because it's tomorrow. We're on flip times. So wherever she was, I watched everything live because I was awake. So happy birthday. I missed Apple Strudel Day. Well, I always come on towards the end of the evening, depending on where you are. Or it's probably tomorrow, depending on where you are. Awesome. That's not, I want an apple strudel. Do you know what's funny? When I was writing all of this down, I was like, I wonder if I have any of those pastry things. My local grocery store, which I think they're probably sold everywhere, their wannabe McDonald's apple pies, They sell them and you cook them in your oven, and they're the greatest thing on planet Earth. They are the greatest. It's one of the reasons I can't fit in my old clothes anymore, is because I'm addicted to apple strudel. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm thinking about testing out this. I'm thinking about testing out this machine, the white sewing machine. I've been using it a lot, but it's not heavy duty. It says it's heavy duty, but it's not. I have to take my boots off. Oh, oh, I thought I could hang through showing my jacket off, but new boots. My feet are like, why are you doing this to me? Why? Oh, oh. And I've had this thing for 10 years. And I'm not kidding you. I started using it again. This is my boot shoe. I love this thing. I have one that says Boot Barn. This is something that's fancy from somewhere else because I inherited this one. But these things are amazing. Hello, Ty. How's it going? Great to see you. Good evening. Oh. I want to be tall so bad, but new boots kill the feet. My electric bill was so high. I've officially turned into my mother. I looked at the bill. I was like, turn off all the lights. We officially are living in the dark. And that was from last month when I was actually trying to save money. Oh, my son and I generate enough power for like 15 people. But also it's hot. So eventually I'm going to turn the lights back on though. Let's see how it looks, cuz I want to try my jacket on. And also I'm trying to not overheat my equipment as well. Who knew? When you live in the desert, who knew? So, you know what? In a minute, I want to talk about bootleg clothes. I kind of brought it up earlier on Rashawn's stream, but there is somebody today who I'm going to use them as the subject, but I'm not talking about this person's life. I'm talking about how they dress. So before we get there, yay, hello, everybody. The lighting is decent. Enough. I got bored, and because I do not sleep at night, I was able to finish my coat. And I know you say, William, with a chin as giant as yours, why do you keep on making these big collars? I love giant collars. I think I'm going to have to turn the lights on. But hold on. Gripes about the power bill and then turns on the stadium lights. I absolutely love how this looks. Let me come back a little bit. I have fans and all kinds of craziness going on in here. I love bootleg pants. Do you know, in downtown Los Angeles, I'm actually giving downtown a break. Because I was going every weekend for months, and it's been a while, but it always made me laugh. I would walk past this one stand. Everything was Nike. But if you looked at the label, it literally said where it came from, and it wasn't Nike. That light makes a big difference. It really does, though. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. Making coats is kind of something I fell into, and I've been doing it for 3 years now. Straight. But I love how this came out. When I saw this print, it screamed coat. I got this print at Joann's, and I'm telling you, they're going out of business, but they're not acting like it in any way, shape, or form. And I just want to say, for the record, Alibaba, look at my cuffs. They're actually at adult length. I don't have them at my normal emo length. I have this obsession with my cuffs being over my thumbs, but I have giant hands. So it makes it, in a way, it looks like I'm wearing my dad's coat or something, you know, like I'm wearing a coat of someone larger than me, even though I made it to my size. So I'm slowly learning how to cuff coats exactly to my size. Awesome. The sleeves look good with the print running that way. It really does work out well. Thank you, though. Thank you. So act surprised when you see this on Friday. So I think I need to move to the beach, or that's just my excuse to move to the beach because I need to live somewhere where it's windy all the time and not like nasty. Oh, the Celtics won. And like where I live, it's windy, but it's hot and windy. And that's just not fun at all. Oh. And this kind of goes with what I was saying. Oh, I didn't even realize. I'm going to show a picture in a minute if I can figure out that phone. Oh, I love this coat. As you'll be able to see in a second, I did not finish the collar. I'm going old school. Ever since I've been on revolt from my serger, I've really been thinking about it. And that's the thing. When you're not using your serger all the time, you actually have to think, because when I have my serger, it thinks for me. Thank you. Thank you. You know what's so funny? YouTube is strange because there's channels I watch all the time and I never get their notifications, but I have the bell hit and everything. So there is something to be said about that. There's definitely something to be said about that. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. But I love how this came out as the collar flips. The palm tree look is beautiful. Like I said, Joann's is going out of business, but they sure do not act like it at all. This was on sale, but if you really think about it, and this is with most sale prices, what they do is they mark the price up and then they mark it down to where the price is kind of competitive with everybody else. This was about $8 a yard. I could probably get this for $7 a yard somewhere else. So with this sale, it kind of equaled out, but it kind of didn't. But that's where they get you every time. They get you with the math because they're like, oh, it's 60% off, but they mark it up 60%. So you don't realize that you're paying, you're paying 50 cents less basically. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, everybody missed all of the days. So let me see if I can pull a picture up. I keep on messing up his name. But there is somebody who recently, let me see if it comes up. There we go. Bishop robbery. So, oh, come on. Let's see if there's some pictures. Oh, we'll see if these will show. So recently, there is somebody who got arrested today, and he has a huge backstory. I call him Bishop Robbery. His real name is Lamar Whitehead, but I'm not here to talk about his life. He's nuts. He gets online. He's supposed to be bishop. When we think of someone who's a bishop, we think of a pious human. This guy goes blotto on people. I'm not here for that. But what I'm here for is his dress style. He wears everything. Well, I can't say everything he wears is bootleg. Oh, I didn't know. Joann's was going out of business. They are. But they've been going out of business for years. And they're really arrogant about it. I do not know why. But I'm going to share a picture real quick. Let me know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Okay. So this man, I want to know who this man's tailor is. If you can see that picture, his suit is fake. But somebody made that. Somebody made that suit and it is tailored perfect. Everybody talks trash about how fake this guy's clothes are, but somebody made that. I don't know. Like, for as much as this guy is going straight to Hades, he's going to look good while he's doing it. That's fake. That is fake, but it looks great. I appreciate the art. You know, I honestly appreciate the art when people that suit is artwork. Somebody got a giant roll just like I get, those huge rolls of fabric, and they made that. I want to know where he gets all this Gucci print. That is a really fancy version of the fake Fendi that I have. Matter of fact, where is my fake Fendi? Let me click back over to the comments. I know I'm. Oh, he got. Oh, yeah. Joanne's just going to. Lamar suits are wild. They are. They are. He does look like the. I want to look like the Riddler. I want that green suit. What is it supposed to be a fake of? Oh, that's a really good question. So he's wearing knockoff of like Fendi and Gucci and, you know, all the really popular brands. Just to illustrate, I'm not kidding you. This is part of my fake Fendi collection. Whoever was making his clothes were spot on. They were a real tailor. So although the guy is an utter and complete waste of space, his clothes were amazing. So every time I see his suits and everything, I'm like, wow, he's not a good person, but he is so well dressed. Because it's not even if you're not into that fashion. I look at all kinds of fashions, all kinds of things. The green one is see, but even in my opening, when I opened with that green shirt, I didn't know I liked that color. I put that color on and I'm like, maybe I want to be the Riddler. He had absolutely he had style. I can't even like, I'm a non-hater. I know that sounds weird, but the guy, because in life you're gonna indict yourself. You are, regardless if it's a good or bad, you will show who you are. But this guy could dress. And I watch a lot of chisme shows, a lot of shows where people talk about other people. So when they were talking about him today, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to find new channels to watch. Because somebody took, and this is the end of a roll. This is the very end of a roll. But somebody took something like this and made a suit that Bishop Robbery was wearing. I think that's amazing. And I will always stop and clap for the artwork of sewing. I will. I would have worn. I would wear branding fabric. I think it's cheap, Gucci and otherwise. It just depends on what it is. You know, I really didn't have the experience until I was older, and I had a friend who she taught me a lot of things about this planet. But she was one of those people that everything she had was authentic. All her purses are in everything. And she took me to Santa Barbara on my birthday. Long story short, we walked into, I can't remember if it's Fendi, Gucci, or whatever. First, she made an appointment. And I walked in there looking like this. They were like, come on in. They didn't care. But it was weird to me that a pair of pants was like $900. A purse is like $6 or $7 grand. And those are the cheap ones, you know. Oh. He was sentenced 9 years, but I wonder what his wardrobe will look like in 2033. Apparently, he's selling everything because he didn't have just nice clothes. He had everything to boot: the house, the cars. Let me tell you, bragging about having a 3-bedroom house is better than getting evicted from your mansion that you're lying about and you can't afford to live in, you know. So it's better to stay humble. Oh, it's true though. And that's the thing. We won't be dressing like that in 2033, or maybe we will. His clothes might be considered vintage at that point. That is what fabric choice, pressing and tailoring and doing proper corners makes clothes look like. I think he's talking to you, Eagle. I think he's talking to you. Matter of fact, from now on, when I make improper corners, we're going to call that the Eagle maneuver. Oh, it's true, though. It's true. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie American Gangster, but at the very end of the movie, spoiler, but at the very end of the movie, Frank Lucas, I think that's his name, played by Denzel Washington, he gets out of jail. And he's wearing a suit from the 1960s or something, 1970s. And then all of a sudden you hear Public Enemy playing and you realize it's the 90s. That it's insane. If you really think about it, he's going to lose a couple years. But the man can dress. Alibaba is right, though. That this guy was wearing nothing but bootleg clothes. You know what? Let's look at him one more time. Let's give Bishop Robbery the proper send-off that he deserves. Because I've been so engrossed with this man since the day, I think it was 2021. And keep in mind, we were all trapped in the house with because of the plague, you know, I started watching all kinds of gossip shows. I just fell in love with people, watching shows, having a good time. But then ever since he was robbed in his church, basically because the guy had this really rinky-dink church, he was wearing $500,000 worth of jewelry, which is insane, unless you're Catholic. My whole point is this man can dress. Somebody made these suits, and you know, all the time people go off and they say, oh, he's this or that. Somebody made that. Look how perfect. I constantly wear vests. I cut them to my shoulders. I cut them a certain way. Even when I buy vests, they have the manufacturer's mark on them where they have like sleeves on them almost, you know, where you could see where they came from the sleeves. I cut them down. That vest is perfectly tailored. Flying eagle corners. Absolutely. So I'm not going to talk about him again. That jacket has to be real. See, and that's the thing. Like people, I don't know. A lot of people made fun of him for his clothing choice. I was like, hey, if you can afford it, if you want to dress like Louis the 15th, go right ahead. I'm not going to sit here and judge. I dress like the real life Fred Sanford, you know? So who am I to judge anybody? I think I'm going to line the bottom of my coat. Because the material I used is extremely stringy. And I was looking in the short I made. And when I turned, you can see the strings at the bottom of my coat. So I think I'm going to finish that and line that. And I have a crazy idea. Well, actually, before I keep on waffling back and forth, I want to make red sequin hammer pants. I don't know what it is. I keep on stopping myself, but I'm not going to. To all the people who just clicked off when I said that. To the 4 people who clicked off when you click back on, I don't blame you. I'm tired of hammer pants too. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, sorry, that was hilarious. The fabric is fraying already. Well, this particular material was it's extremely stringy in general. You know me, I love dressing like pool furniture. This I guarantee you that this was on the cusp of the indoor outdoor section, but everything was so pushed around because they're going out of business. So everything was so pushed around because I kept on grabbing things. That's why I took pictures of the furry fabric, because for everything that was on sale, they still want $50 a yard for the furry fabric. I saw the strings at the bottom, but held my peace. I'm shameless. I am shameless. I just have to say that. Hold on, with my hand on my heart, I am shameless. I will walk into a fashion show with a non-surged coat. Please make the red sequin hammer pants. Do it for the 4th of July. I have a whole a ton of America. I have an America hockey jersey, America baseball jersey. I have every kind of like funny shirt you could think of. I have a bro Ham Lincoln shirt. No one thinks it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. And I'm not shameless in the like causing harm way. I'm like, this is what you got. And it made me laugh. Doing the shorts, it's funny because if you think about it, I started this coat during a live stream. So that's like 2 or 3 hours worth of work of me talking over it. But then when I got serious, I finished the coat. It took me an hour or two, maybe. But if you think about it, it took me 2 days and like 9-10 hours for 36-second video. So on Friday shows, I'm gonna be like, look at my coat. I spent a lot of time. But it's funny, and I think people who make things do not get enough credit of how hard people work. That's like, I watch Gunter Designs. I think that's what their channel is called. They make some of the most amazing things on planet Earth, and I'm like, you put that in 45-second short. Please show us the Abraham Lincoln shirt. That is hilarious. I pulled it out because it's summer, so I rotate all my stuff. I'll bring it out. I have an extensive collection of black t-shirts. The Abraham Lincoln definitely gets a reaction. It does. Oh, I am gonna I'm gonna start making scarves. So please send in all. You know what? Let's make one right now. Let's make a scarf right now. Scarf 101. When you have a giant pile, that is nothing but leftovers and fabric right there. And I'm not even fabric shaming myself. I live in a fabric store, so it's inevitable to happen. See, and this is all leftovers. I thought this was a shirt for a minute, but I want to know, besides knitting a scarf, because I'm going to do a DIY scarf. How would you go about making a scarf? Because I have a million different ways. Thank you, butterfly. Excuse me. All right, we're gonna if I go missing, avenge my. But I think back behind all of my dress forms, I have a few of the scarves that I've made over the years. I went crazy making scarves a couple years ago. It's something, it's a fun project, It's something that it's fun and it's easy to do, because there's a difference between like just making a wrap or actually sewing the signs and making a scarf, So let's make a scarf right now. since I have all of this material, and let's make a mess. I've been intending to clean this section for a while, but as you can see, there's a reason why I avoid this section. Oh, and I made these pants like 4 or 5 years ago, but these are all 3 different designs. Like all of these are different. And yes, I really wear these in public. Only only winter scarves here in Canada. Not too many have other types here. I could imagine. I could imagine. We we have really strange weather, and again, because of where I live, anything that drops under anything that drops under like 59 degrees, I'm like, oh, it's freezing. I'm a desert dweller. Definitely a desert dweller. Okay, I'm jumping way ahead of myself. Before I'm getting happy, it's the coffee talking. Before I get to scarf making, because I was recently asked to make a scarf tutorial, and I was thinking about it last night. There are so many different ways to make a scarf because I was in love with a certain Middle Eastern way of wearing scarves, and I watched videos, and it was just a wrap. I thought there was sewing involved. There was no sewing involved. So it depends on where you're from and how you wear it, you know? Someone in Boston is going to be different than someone in Maine or, you know, someone in Saskatoon. One day I'm going to go in my closet and get all the Saskatoon tourist stuff that I got. I use scarves and shawls interchangeably. That is another question I have. Like, what's the difference between a scarf, a shawl, and I can't remember. I brought it up and I already forgot. It's because I wanted to make a Rasputin costume. And plus, you know, it takes me like a week to grow a beard anyways. Oh, but what is it called? The long robe pieces that they wear. What is it called? Let's see. What is it called, though? It's called something else. I typed in Pope scarf, and of course they're calling it the Pope scarf. Oh, I can't remember now. Oh, it's not a Pope scarf. You're just doing that because you can sell it. Good grief. Let me get off the internet. Capitalism ruins everything. I was just trying to do some research. There's a certain name. Oh, it's a stole. Okay. So what's the difference? Thank you. Yes. What's the difference between a scarf and a stole? Is it because a stole goes down to your feet and you look like Rasputin? To me, they kind of all look like, hey, Mona, how's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you. Because I've really been thinking about it because someone asked me to make a scarf tutorial, and I've made all different types of scarves, you know? I might make a stole. I was raised, it's no secret, I was raised Roman Catholic. And when I say that, I went every Sunday as a child, because my parents were consistent humans. My whole point is I'm totally down to wear one of those long stalls. I'll put House of Sewing on both sides. That looks like fun. It looks like a fun project. Yay! Hello, Mona. Great to see you. Great to see you. All right, let me grab some of the denim. And that was one thing I loved about this coat is that I was able to incorporate the miles of denim I have left. Yay! Hello, everybody. Hello. Awesome. So I can't remember where I was. I was going off about Bishop robbery, and then those watching. Oh, thank you, Ty. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm trying to figure out how to finish all of this, basically. So I'm gonna finish my coat, but last night I got into the world of scarves and I forgot how much I loved making those things. And I talked about it and it did hurt my feelings. I made the first scarf I made was African print and I received so much hate mail. I was like, what did I do? I have a sewing channel. This is a Wendy's. But I offended people and I understand. I'm just some shrub on the internet, you know? But I kept making scarves after that. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. Thank you. I got the material from Joann's and I'm still debating if it's not an indoor-outdoor material because I love dressing like patio furniture. All right. So let me grab my denim and my table. Oh. You know what? Let me look real quick. If you hear close a lanch, or if I suddenly get snatched up and disappear behind the flag, avenge me. I'm kidding. I just have a ton of stuff in this room. But I think I have my old scarves back there. I could be wrong. Or I could just be asking for trouble. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. Do you know it's shocking what I actually find when I'm looking for? Do you know what's really funny? I should keep adding on to this and just take it down to the floor. I made this years and years ago, and this was the scarf that the scarf of controversy. That never happens. I'm shocked I found this. But I made this years ago. And you know, I was actually sad when people sent me hate mail. I was like, I sew, guys. It's not that serious. But this is beautiful. It keeps you warm. I love this thing. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has to crawl over stuff to buy it. Do you know, I was thinking, I was telling myself when I was in that corner, I was like, William, you are on YouTube. Do not fall. Because sometimes I'll eat it in here because like the dress forms have wheels on them. Oh, Mona, you're making me feel better. I need strudel. Kilroy, where are you? Bake us some strudel. For anyone who came in late, today is National Apple Strudel Day. And I am obsessed with, I go to the store and I buy these fake McDonald's apple pies. I don't know. You put them in the oven, they taste like McDonald's apple pies and they're flaky. Oh man, it's gonna be so sad when I'm like looking through my freezer for strudels after this tree. Oh, but I've made quite a few scarves over the years. And you know, to all those people who sent me hate mail over this, like I'm an American, I don't know anything. When it comes, you know, and this goes back to cultural appropriation. And this is why I constantly ask the question, because I was like, wow, why are people so angry? But I didn't understand the power behind certain clothing and what people wear in certain countries because I'm from the West. We just say, ooh, that's shiny. I like that. I'm going to wear that. So I'm going to find another place to, I'm going to, do you know what? I actually lined this as well. This has, I don't know what's in here. I don't know if it's batting or if it's just a leftover project or something. This could be a leftover blanket because I still can't describe how big an Alaskan size king bed is. When I got my grandmother's linens, they were stadium size, literally stadium size. So I utilized the material as much as I could. People abroad take our culture too. Why get mad? See, it's one of those. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. But I'm not here. I'm not purposely seeking out to offend people. You know, I am literally. Excuse me. And the funny thing is, I got that print at Hobby Lobby. I'm literally at Hobby Lobby, like walking past all the bolts, feeling them. I'm like, oh, that feels nice. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. You know, I'm not going to offend people. I'm walking around having a great time. What country doesn't have a McDonald's? Not one that I haven't seen. That's actually that's like a weird. That's a question people ask. Like when people that travel, they'll ask a bunch of questions like, "Does it have a McDonald's there? Does it?" That's like a sign of civilization. It's insulated. I get cold. It's because I'm a desert dweller. I'm not kidding you. Like I have sometimes I feel like I have an elevated body temperature when the weather dips. I bundle up. You would laugh at me. All the East Coasters, you guys would be like, "Are you serious?" When the weather dips, I dip. Any culture with a TV or internet or cell phone or smartphone has stolen my culture. uh well, that is true. I'm obsessed with hockey. Is that stealing your culture? Matter of fact, tomorrow night, like even with all the championships closing, I'm like, what am I gonna watch on TV? Oh, good times. Good times. I'm flabbergasted now. They took my culture. I was, you know what? It was more or less something that I was a baby YouTuber, and like I'm a Care Bear, so I was like answering people back, like I'm so sorry, and they're like, go to Haiti. Now I'm just like I don't care. But I'm not here to step on anyone's toes, at least on purpose. Oh. So this, you know what? I think the dress form is just the perfect height. Oh, that's perfect. Yay. I don't know if you can see how stringy that is, but this material, it sheds. And Serger and I, we're not talking, so I lined everything. Well, what are you gonna do next? Eat poutine and have waffles with maple syrup or something? Do you know what's really funny? I'm not a fan of poutine, but I go nuts on waffles and maple syrup. We've had this conversation. I get mad if you don't have a Waffle House in your town. I want waffles with pure maple syrup. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It reminds me, like, do you know when the more north I got towards the Canadian border, the plates got bigger and bigger, and it made me appreciate waffles. Living up north made me appreciate waffles. Oh wow, that is shreddy. Thank you. And you know what? I'm stubborn, so I was willing to work with it because this is me. Like I'm a desert dweller. I love the desert print. I absolutely love this print, but this stuff sheds. I'm snacky tonight. It's summer, so I've been like, there's no plan or diet in the house of sewing. Even at my son's MMA class, there is 2 Mexican restaurants in the parking lot. Across the street, as I'm literally sitting in the chair, I can see the Greasy Spoon that I've been going to my entire life. It is literally across the street calling my name. And there's a Jack in the Box on the corner. I've been saying this since day one. Like, my son is getting all buff and he's fit, and I'm not. And you know what? For science, I had to test out all the restaurants. They're so good. They are so good. It is ridiculous how good the restaurants are. And the Greasy Spoon is just consistent. Because let's be real, when you fry something, like, it's just good. I like to warm up my syrup with butter. Oh, we have entered the food portion of the stream early this evening. I hope everybody enjoyed flying my So Life Airlines. The kitchen is now open. Oh, I love waffles. And in my town now, it makes me laugh because I used to have to drive to LA or Hollywood to get a giant plate of chicken and waffles everywhere. Chicken and waffles are everywhere now. So I literally just have to put my shoes on and get in my car for 5 minutes. It is so funny. But I think it's more of a shift in the taste, and it got popular, so people started eating it. That's a better angle. Okay. So I'm going to cut some of the fray off of this and line it with the denim I have. The more I clean, I find more denim. One day I will learn to be like, I really don't need that. Can I get 5 yards of that? On a, like, as a base standard, I'm like, can I get 5 yards? Even that weird orange tweed, I still have 5 yards of that left. I think I'm gonna have to make another WKRP in Cincinnati suit. Oh man, you guys, now I'm starving. The IHOP by my house, it closes at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Ever since the plague, they shut down early. And I know we had this conversation last time. I missed the midnight world. I definitely participated in that. And the Denny's by my house has been shut down by the health department a few times. So all the locals are like, we know you're not from our town if you're in there. Which is really sad because when I was in my 20s, Denny's was clutch. Man, they fed me for a solid 10 years. So it's sad to see them go downhill like that. All right. I'm just cutting some of these strings off. This is real old school to me. This is pre-Serger, but I love working with material like this, so I actually know what to do with extremely stringy material. You just keep covering it. You ain't from these parts? Oh. I miss, now I'm starving. And I had half an order of chili fries from the Greasy Spoon, because lately when I've been like really gorging with food, I pass out. And I was like, I have things to do this evening. I can't just pass out. That reminds me. So if anyone's wondering what the title of this stream means is let me see. Did I put the tacos in the title? I did. 15 tacos and 4 yards of conversation. I believe on Father's Day. I love Absolutely love Mexican food. Everybody knows that is one of my favorite foods. So I always order from one particular place. Keep in mind that years ago they messed up my order, and on Christmas, I think it was 2 years ago, I go to the counter, I ordered like 40 tamales, rice and beans, which is a lot of food, but I was feeding a ton of people. I get to the counter, they handed me a tray of about 25 pounds of beans. For anyone that knows, 25 pounds of refried beans is an entire huge tray. Then they handed me a thing of rice. And I looked at them and I was like, I didn't order this. They messed up my order and they let me keep that. I'm not kidding you. I was sending people home with just huge Tupperware. And yes, I own Tupperware of rice. So yesterday on Father's Day, was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. I went there and I'm literally salivating. They have a bakery. When you walk in, it is cruel. It is cruel and unusual when you walk in somewhere and there's a fret. And I mean, they're cooking the bread, they're making cookies all day long because this store is popular. They're well staffed. I walk in, I get my food, and I ordered, I'm sitting there, I'm hanging out. And because I was hungry, I went and bought a piece of bread and I'm sitting there and I'm eating it. And the woman's looking at me and she's like, I am so sorry that we took this long that you have to order more food. She gave me 15 more tacos. Sometimes people think they're doing you a favor, but really, I'm not going to be able to fit in my pants at the end of this week. And as I said, I'm in the car, silently driving home. I'm looking and I'm like, man. And the funny thing is, in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do with all this food? I know what I'm going to do with all the food. I'm going to eat it. We would have been fine. And on Christmas, it was so funny though, because they gave me all that food. I sent, and people because people came to the party and they were like, why are you so quiet? And I was like, because everybody's getting a gift on the way home. So this is twice now. And every time they make a mistake, they make me huge every time. And it's not their fault. And you know what, to their credit, they stand by any mistake they have. So it's not like we're arguing, it's not like they're giving me a hard time, but they're making me huge. And then my mom was over here, and my son, and my mom was like, again. She's like, they're fattening you up so you can't run. So needless to say, every time they mess up, I go up a pant size. And it's weird because it's just strange. And they know, and they're so polite. They're so polite to me that I'm not even mad about it, But I got 15 extra tacos, and by the end of this week, I will not be able to fit in my bathing suit, nor will I want to wear it. I'm gonna be sitting in my fountain with that's what I need to make. I need to make a early 1900s bathing suit with the full shoulders, with the belt and everything. It's a conspiracy. I tell you, it's a conspiracy. And we always, in our society, the new thing is to always complain about bad service. Because let me tell you, there is no shortage of it. And I agree, when people go ham and they're like, oh, this is the worst service ever, these people go above and beyond to hook it up. But what happens is I can't fit in my clothes anymore. All right. So sometimes when I line something, it the original piece looks really thick, But you have to think about it. I'm gonna fold it over on both sides, and I'm giving myself massive room on the other side to sew on. So you might only see a piece of what I'm cutting right here, even though this is a fairly large piece. Okay. Beautiful. Let me cut the edge of this. I hope this is long enough. If not, I'll make more. Have you ever been somewhere where they fix a mistake like that? Or is it just the place that I go to that utterly and completely hooks it up? And I think they know that, like, where I live is the land of Karens. So they'll just give you what you want. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. And I'm one of those people. I am definitely one of those people. I cannot turn down free food. It's a default. It is a default. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to give you 15 extra tacos, I'm like, thank you. All right, let me pin this. All right, let me clean up the middle right here. Perfect. This is very shades of old school, but this is how I used to line all my coats pre-serger. And much like a serger, the sewing machine is going to fix most of the mistakes that or anything that you see because it's going to press everything down. And it's going to look amazing. This is so much better than my old dress form. I won't insult it too hard. They're in the same room. Let me check my notes. So is it me? And I know this is kind of a weird subject, but I think it's because I'm a bit of a dry, sarcastic person. Is it me, or is nuance gone? I love Easter eggs, hidden jokes, all kinds of like subtle jokes where you're in the car and you're like, oh, I get that, you know? Is it me, or people do not understand the subtlety of comedy anymore? Or just nuance in general? Are we all so serious that like there's no more satire? Or have I become jaded from sitting around and watching YouTube for 6 years? You're a master at your craft. Awesome. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. I've learned over the years. I've definitely learned over the years. And that's the beautiful thing about mistakes. You know, I get frustrated just like anybody else, but mistakes are beautiful teachers. Because you'll make a mistake and you're like, you know what? I'm going to sear this in my memory so I never do it again. And that's one thing I've learned over the years is to not give myself a hard time. Because I used to really give myself a hard time about a lot of my sewing. But I had to learn nuance. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. And one of the reasons folks are hyper okay, thank you. And also I say things in text, it doesn't come across as I wanted to. That's why I appreciate Rashawn. I've said crazy things in Critically Drinking, but Rashawn understands, and Yella and everybody else, it's in context of the conversation. I'm not walking around screaming at people, you know. There's no satire comedy anymore. It's now considered offensive in general, sadly. It's just strange to me. But again, like, I come from a family of senior citizens, and I talk about this all the time because I know what it is when you become outdated. I've witnessed it in every generation. I remember when we told my brother's wife she couldn't sport a mullet anymore because the 80s were over. She had the full mullet shaved on the side. She looked like a Roman emperor. She looked like a Roman helmet. She had a full mullet. I know what it is, you know, like when you get stuck in a style. I'm stuck in the 1980s style. I get it. Oh, but I'm slapsticky. I like to clown around. I like to have fun, you know. But it just seems like I don't know. And I understand. People have said some of the most sideways things to me on the internet where I'm like, well, I get it, you know, but you know, it's just weird to me. It just seems like um everybody is so offended. And all of this is coming from, I commented on a YouTuber that I've been watching for a little bit, and I don't think they understood what I was saying. And I've been on this whole, and it's an issue of mine. It's a pet peeve, and I think when you pay attention to something, it happens all the time. But I think like satire is, I don't know, it's just like Alibaba said, satire is dead, I guess. Lamar is stuck. One of the reasons why Lamar Whitehead was so polarizing was because he would go to bat. He would go to the trenches with people, and so people celebrate when something happens to you because he says awful things to people. When you're mean spirited like that, like, you have to be careful. See, and that's another thing. There is a difference between being like, you know, just saying something funny and being just an utter and completely offensive human, you know. And the line is up to the person. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I am the judge of anything, but it's just weird to me. Or like, again, Rashawn streams on a channel called Critically Drinking. I type it in. I found a YouTuber called Critical Drinker. I've discovered a whole world of people who hate watch things, and I'm old. I'm the like, stop hitting yourself kind of person. I'm like, if you don't like that, why are you watching this? But that's me, you know. It's just weird to me. But I say this all the time. I didn't get on YouTube until I was in my late 30s, I believe. Oh, you're not. You're not. This one of my many computers is not cooperating. But long story short, I got on YouTube a little later in life, so I didn't have a lot of these issues or care about a lot of things, you know? So it's strange to me what people choose to do with their time. I look at it almost like a case study. I like to sew, so I'm not judging anybody. In a weird way, I'm like my grandmother. My grandmother, she had all kinds of things going on, but she'd be at that sewing machine just giving my grandfather a dirty look. She made, I said this the other day, she made a ton of pillows. She made blankets. She made everything. Anything you could think of, you could make on a sewing machine. My grandmother made. Oh. So I think a lot of it's just weird to me. But again, I'm old school, and I try not to push my way of life on people because who am I, you know? Who am I? So it's just weird to me. And I was obsessed with Doctor Who. I vicariously lived through Doctor Who, and it changed, and there were certain things that I wasn't into, so I just stopped watching the show. It wasn't even like out of anger. I grew up. I grew up. It's sad, but it happened. And I have nothing bad to say about the show. I haven't even watched the new one, but and also it's because of the algorithm. All these videos pop up. Laugh a lot. I remember my mom sewing. Thank you so much for stopping by, Butterfly. Thank you so much. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. But my grandmother, instead of taking her issues out on other people, she would sew. And I didn't realize the power of sewing until she passed away. And I saw all the stuff she made, and I was like, instead of going off on people, she just, leaned into her art. But even at church, I was surrounded by seamstresses. The one I grew up in as well is the same way. Have a great night, Butterfly. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yay. Have a great night, Butterfly. It's just weird to me how people choose to spend their time. That's my thing. And don't get me wrong, for as much as I'm sitting here on my high horse with my soapbox, like I'm involved in the muck, I just watch it and don't comment. That's how I knew about Bishop Robbery and all these people. But again, I look at it more as an anthropological study because it's weird to me what people do for attention, or people do like, anybody on YouTube is saying, hey, look at me. But I'm not like shooting myself out of a cannon over Lake Michigan. I'm sewing. And that would be cool, actually, to shoot yourself out of a cannon over Lake Michigan. I've seen it, though. You got to pick one of the short side. Oh, okay. So now I'm going to cut this. And they're going to meet each other at some point. Oh, that is a perfect cut. I did this just by eyeballing, and they're dead even. So that's a good sign that we're on the right path. Perfect. That rarely happens where it's completely even like that. But like I say, always trust the math. Is there any hobbies that you do? Is there something that you do that relieves you of the stress of everyday life? Like for me, I wish I could hang out in this room all day. Excuse me, this room is my happy place. Especially when it's hot and I can't come out here. I'm like, I open the door because I have a thermometer. I open the door and I'm like, oh, it's too hot. But what do you do to relieve stress? On Rashawn's stream earlier, I was talking about how before work, I'll say some choice words in the car and let it out. Or have a good cry in the car. I'm kidding, not kidding. It's kind of a funny joke to me, but I've also seen people do it, and I've been that person where you're in your car and you're just like, oh, how did I get here? How's it going, AP Vlogger? How are you? Great to see you. Great to see you. Welcome, welcome. I am captain of the nonsense train. I plan to take on jiu-jitsu. It's Thai jiu-jitsu has utterly and completely changed my son's life. I would tell anybody to pick up any mixed martial art, anything, even if it's Aikido. It has changed my son's life. I can't say enough good things about it. Hello, AP Vlogger. Hello. That is such a good idea. That is such a good idea, Ty. I am pro taking any of those classes. When I was in my 20s, I was at a Starbucks and they had this wall of like all these weird things to do. And I'm not gonna say this correctly because I still cannot say it correctly after all these years. But I took Krav Maga, which is Israeli hand fighting. It changed my life. I was like 19, 20 years old. Um, it changed my life. And it was more or less the physical activity, getting out, meeting people. I was really into myself. I was living in LA. I was this little fish in the ocean. And it gave me confidence, and it was nothing but positive, nothing but a positive experience. And that was just a class I took at a Y, but this person knew what they were doing, and it was one of the greatest choices I ever made. So I am all about taking the class like that. And even this Sunday, there's this tournament going on, and my ex-wife and I were like, well, but what is he training for? So that's what we're gonna do. All right, let's see if my camera can hold up. Let's. Oh no, I don't know. Wrong camera. No. It has the option of going on your iPhone, and I still to this day I do not know why it's going on my iPhone. All right, one day I will go on my iPhone and take a walk around the house, though. Oh, beautiful. you know oh oh man, I gotta move my trash can. Do you know what's funny? There is a ton of space in this room, and I have managed to utterly and completely clog every inch of it. All right, so let me find. There's my pin cushion before I go and make any further mistakes. Perfect. All right, let me move all of my phones. Beautiful. A desk is an amazing space because no matter how large the desk is, I have managed to clog every inch of it that I can. Perfect. Hey, Rashawn. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. Good to see you. Another beautiful evening here in the House of Sewing. I'm about to go off about how this freaking like $20 sewing machine is better than all the other sewing machines that I've purchased lately. Ah! It's always that camera. Let me see if it'll let me click back into my other cameras. Ah! All right. Give me one quick second. I have to log into my other computer because I don't know. I think I slept. Have a great night, Mona. Thank you so much for stopping by. Taking care of phrase on the bottom of his new coat. Absolutely. The heat has completely fried my camera. I was a good girl because I knew you were coming in. I swear. Let me log into my other computer. This is awful. Where is the House of Sewing complaint department? I need to speak to the manager. Oh, let's see. Will you let me go into StreamYards? Why are you clutch? That is so funny. Do you know what's so funny? I own all kinds of Apple computers, and my PC is clutch. Okay, hold on. Let me mute myself. I think the volume's down. If you hear a screech, I apologize. Oh, did it screech? Nope. Okay, good. That is the weirdest thing. I do not know why. And it's only happened this year that my camera can't take the heat. I guess we're all getting old. I guess my camera cannot take the heat. All right, I'm gonna jump out and then hop right back in. This will just take a second because the second I reboot, all the cameras work again. StreamYards, I'm gonna send a novel. Yes, Apple, I want. Oh, it's because I'm on a different microphone. You like honestly, you didn't even want to hear what I was saying right now. I'm so over technology right now. I'm about to mail everybody a tin can and some wire, and we can all communicate that way. Oh, all right. So let's try this again. Let's try. I don't know why. I have no idea. And you know what? I'm not going to let Apple trick me into spending a boatload of money again and buying another computer. New computers are not cheap. And as somebody who is sitting in a room of computers, it's amazing how fast they age out. You know, it's not even that hot, too. That's what the funny thing is. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's winter as compared to what it was today. Big expose on national news here in Canada. Flip phones are making a comeback. People are fed up with smartphones. I miss my flip phones. And I know everybody's going to laugh at me when I say this. I miss my Razor. I owned like 4 of them. I loved the first Razor. I'm going to move to Canada and get a flip phone. So you think I should get a new computer? That's one vote for a new computer. Oh my God, you activated my Alexa. Yours is sensitive like mine. I had to change the setting. I'm telling you, like, I watch a lot of television. I watch a lot of sports, and it'll have an A-word commercial. You like because I have all my TVs on, because I like cruising around my house. This is when I'm alone. I'll hear an A-word commercial. I come running in here because I know it's gonna set it off. I love that shakes fist. I miss flips too. Thank you. The world was less complicated when we didn't have to look at each other. People I have a work phone and people trip out that I turn it off. I'm like, look, during certain hours, short of a fire, don't call me. But again, I remember the world pre-cell phone. I've gone wandering in places where if I had disappeared, people would have never heard from me again. I kind of miss being a nobody. Does that make sense? I miss the anonymity of like not being pinged on every cell phone tower. I have nerve damage, and that messes with all the touchscreen stuff. Apple products only glitch with me. Useless. They do too, though. If anyone noticed last night, I posted in my sleep. If anyone noticed, I erased it because I woke up. First, I thought I got hacked, but then I was so embarrassed because it exposed the fact that I sleep with my telephone. I do. I sleep with my phone physically on and next to me, and I sleep posted. I did. So don't feel bad, Alibaba. I woke up and I was like, was I hacked? No, it was me rolling on my phone. Oh, I miss Nokia phones. I had the brick. Jumpman, I was obsessed with that game. Jumpman, where you're the guy parachuting down, you have to avoid stuff. Oh, I miss Jumpman. Oh, it was embarrassing. I thought someone hacked my account. It was me. It was me. That's why I made that comment earlier because whatchamacallit, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. But that was me. So if you saw a weird post from me yesterday, it was me. I do too in my bed. Absolutely. Absolutely. But Apple products in general are I don't know, they're strange. They are strange. I am chemically dependent on Apple. Most of the stuff I own is Apple. Just making sure. I'm going to go through one more time. But I was so embarrassed because this is the first time it ever happened to me. Because I know people butt dial and they do all kinds of things. But I sleep post it. It was this strange. Ah. You know, you guys are making me feel better. I'm not the only person that sleeps with their phone. And there's all kinds of ASMR stuff I fall asleep to. I have a whole routine, you know. And I'm back to falling asleep just to Starship noises. All right, let me pull these pens as I'm going. I'm really glad that I decided to line this coat because it puts the finishing touches on it, you know. And as they say, the devil's always in the details. If I touch an Apple phone, it will need a full reboot. The chip can't handle my touching it. I totally understand these things. They're weirdly sensitive like that too. That's why I'm so shocked that I posted in my sleep last night. It was the strangest thing. I have a pillow in bed. I have a pillow in bed specifically for my phone. Okay, so I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds utterly and completely insane, Rashawn. I know you're laughing at that, but let's see if I can find it. I know a guy who made a phone pillow years ago. I'm afraid of rolling over and calling someone or going live. That's exactly what I almost did last night. I'm not kidding you. Man, I'm gonna go live one night. I'm gonna go live. It's gonna be so embarrassing. It's gonna be so embarrassing because I snore. I snore heavily. Oh, actually, before I do that, hold on. A place I work, a place I worked for got to sign in. I got to sign in and start for work. Pay depended on it. Every time I used it, it would stop working. They thought it was me screwing with it. I'm not a fan of the new technology at all. I'm not. I'm not a fan. We have all kinds at my job. We have gone through card readers, all these different buzzers, all these little chips. I'm not a fan of any of it. My phone gets docked. I couldn't imagine sleeping with it. Do you know what's really funny? Ty, you have unlocked a new fear. You have unlocked a new fear. I'm scared of going live. That would, I sleep like, it's awful. They had to call in the service tech, and he said it was not, oh, it was not me. It was the system. They set up a cam to catch me. It proved them wrong. That's awful. Anything biometric, it will not work on me. That's so funny. Alibaba and I are gonna survive the the robot apocalypse. The sign-in was altered just to use a PIN number after a phone call from the cops. New fear unlocked. I am not kidding you. Oh, okay, good. Let me click on my page real quick. Where is it? Of course, my page isn't gonna pop up on my YouTube. But there we go. Okay, videos. Years ago, I made a video about a cell phone pillow. The first call was the police laughing hysterically. The second call was them trying to not laugh, saying that they had a system call saying someone was using what a cadaver hand. Now that is some hardcore stuff. If you were doing that, like, man, if you had a cadaver hand, I would be like, man, just get this guy whatever he wants because he's working real hard to deceive us. Okay, so we're about to time travel right now. Oh, man. I love this video. This and the Peckham video. I worked so hard on those videos. Anyways, we're going to time travel a little bit. Where is that video? Years ago. We're about to see sewing before all the stress when my beard was still black. But I made a video about a cell phone pillow. I have to be careful because I have a lot of copyrighted stuff in here. But I didn't properly label anything. Gosh, those videos are from 3 years ago. My so-called life, thrifting black shirt, stitching like a boxcar hobo, the Mia Wallace upcycle, how to make bell bottoms and self-discovery. Oh, where is my cell phone pillow? Anyways, I actually did that. I thought it was so ingenious. I thought I invented something. And then the iPhone 11 came out. And it was bigger than the pocket I put it in originally. I've made a lot of videos. Anyways, I made a video about how to sleep with your cell phone. And then the next year they just made bigger cell phones. The police knew what the work site was like. I've made a ton of videos over the years. That's the beautiful thing about when you love something, it doesn't feel like work. And yes, I speak in pure cliche. All right. Perfect. I'm going to find that video, though. I thought I really had something, and then cell phones got bigger. But for about 4 months, I found out they thought I was messing with the system. I couldn't imagine. Do you know, if I was under investigation and I found out, I would quit. I'd be like, you guys have been lying to my face this entire time. I don't know how I would feel about that. Especially when it's shown that they are the aggressors, I would get real huffy with them. I would be in the office like, mm-hmm. All right, let me get this last piece. Oh. I might have to make another short. I'm kidding. I am kidding. Do you know, it was really strange to me? I did like 2 days worth of work for a 36-second video. It was so I'm gonna go off in Friday shows about this coat because I worked hard on this, and it trips me out that just YouTube shorts in general trip me out, but the average human attention span is shrinking nowadays. All right, let me clean up a little bit before I try this on, and I don't have to shut down both the cameras because I'm not putting on pants. But this is how I got in trouble last time with the double camera, because I forgot that my friend was the eye in the sky was there, and it's not that kind of show. Oh. Whoops. That was the fan. This is the Singer 404 that I purchased. That thing is like I said, it's the machine that my father had, so there's a lot of nostalgia behind it, but it's a powerful machine too. It's a beast. And I'm like Alibaba said, I've already gone crazy looking up all the attachments and seeing what I can and cannot fit on this. That's why it's there, because I have a rollaway toolbox just filled with attachments on this other side. So I've been really messing around with that Singer 404. Oh. And every time I say 404, it makes me feel like I'm talking about an engine or something. I knew it was a problem, just was nothing I could do about it. And I told them right off. They thought it was strange. They thought it was a strange thing. I didn't want to do. You know what it is? It's when you know the answer and people are utterly completely convinced of something else. It happens to me a lot. Oh, why did you turn off? Sorry, my fake Dyson fan turned off and it slowly became an emergency in here. Oh. I wonder if my fake Gucci patch is still in here. Bishop robbery is going away for 9 years. The least I can do. Let me see. Is it in here? I had to laugh when I found all those fake patches in downtown because they really hid them, because in LA they cracked down hard on this. But this is a fake Gucci patch. And you can tell the subtle differences. If you saw a real Gucci label, the stitching is immaculate. This was done on a Brother PE 535. Yay. It is their normalcy bias. Absolutely. I am very different. I totally get that. It actually happens to me a lot in people in general. They expect me to be something I'm not, and it's shocking when I'm not. They're whatever stereotype. That fake patch is super fancy. That is so messy on that patch. And the funny thing is, the place that I got that, these people have space age machines. Space age machines. And they're making bootleg Gucci patches there. Ah. Matter of fact, those are the people in downtown that inspired me to get the equipment. When I asked them, and they're honest too. That's one thing I like about honest people when they tell me, like, look it up, man. These machines are not cheap. All right, let me move the sewing machine a little bit. I was thinking about buying 15 of those, but then I was like, no, I'm not. Okay, so this camera is the one that usually doesn't overheat. It's the other one. And you know what the funny thing is? Excuse me. The one that overheats, I think that's like my fancy camera. So I have no idea why that thing is choosing to not cooperate. All right. Let's put this coat on, huh? Should I put the Gucci label in this? Oh, this is beautiful. Glad I'm not wearing sleeves either because it's hot. But seriously, I love how this came out. Making coats is what brought me here. I love making coats. It was the first thing that I really got into as far as sewing. Besides, making battle vests and dressing like a 1980s punk. But I love how this came out. And making coats is what I love to do. The action cam overheats. Too much action. It bothers me because I think that's the expensive one. Technology is so fickle. This camera I got off of Amazon for like $9. That other one is expensive. And that thing shuts down, and it shuts down everything because StreamYards is extremely strange. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. I love how this came out. I'm gonna move somewhere where is it perpetually like 50 something degrees and not a bad place to live. Thank you. Thank you, Rashawn. Thank you. I had to show people that I could Aspen. Do you know, I wish I had money to live in Aspen. Do you know, I think about that often. Like, I want to move to one of those bougie places that is so expensive where no one, like Aspen. Aspen is one of those places where, like, who can really afford to live there? Hey, Kilroy. How's it going? I was wondering how you're doing. I hope you're well. If you're not, I'm here. How's it going? I'm showing off my palm coat. This is the coat of redemption. I know the hammer pants are, that's hammer pants aren't for everybody. And I had to show people I still know how to sew. I texted a former coworker to go with her and ski. Oh wow. Do you know I surfed for years. I still rollerblade. I played hockey. I was terrible at snowboarding. I was terrible. I don't know what it is. It just was not my thing. Like how it looks like a duster to me, just with palm trees. I absolutely love this thing. I would put my hat on, but that's hot too. And it's not even in here. I don't know what I did with that thing. It probably fell. My cowboy hat, my white cowboy hat probably fell and ran out of here somewhere. That is weird, but I'll find it. Platelet count is excellent right now, but the steroids made me mess up my shoulder, back, and neck. Almost everything else. I washed and cleaned everything in my house. Oh man. I warn people when I'm on prednisone, I'm like, I'm about to warn you, I'm about to turn into the Hulk. If anything, I just want to take pics in the gear. Ty, I love how you say that. You're like, no, I just want to take pictures with all the stuff on. There's something about being strapped. Like on a surfboard, you can jump off. You know what's so funny? I live in my rollerblades and you're strapped in. I just wasn't born to ski or snowboard, and I wanted to badly. I've never been on a snowboard, and a friend of mine became a world class one, big on the circuits. He partied and even payout. And every payout away, and even was wild. Fuck, living in a ski town, that's taking a tourist town to a whole new level. When I was a kid, you can laugh. There was that one movie where the hockey player became an ice skater, but then there was K2. It made me want to live in Aspen. I wanted to live in Aspen, Colorado so bad. I haven't tried surfing. My old ass balance is too bad. You know what? As long as you get a good stance and you can stand, you can surf. You'd be surprised because I tried when I was like 19, 20. I was trying to show off for people. I fell every time. And then I got a surfboard and I started surfing all the time and I got pretty good at it. But I was also in my 20s. When my son started living with me every day is when my surfing career was over. This guy rented Aspen out and Banff many times. Cases of Monet, even super rich don't do that. So true. That is so true. I actually know someone that's yacht club rich, and like I see him at the grocery store. See, but that's how you get rich is by not spending large amounts of money. All right. I need the thickness life jacket. That is one thing. You actually brought something up, Ty. Like, I do not like snowboarding, but I love snowboard gear. I own like 4 or 5 pairs of pants. Everyone I know laughs at me when they hear me swishing up especially at my job, when they hear me swishing up the driveway, because that means it was rainy or cold enough for me to wear my snowboard pants. But I live in Southern California and there is no occasion to wear pants that are that well insulated. Oh, I love snowboard pants. Pretty much the only outdoor sport I'm cut out for anymore is golf. It's super safe and you can play it completely alone. You would love my area. I live in the land of golf courses. There's golf courses everywhere here. I rode through Vail, Colorado once. Interesting place, but I couldn't immediately sense I was about 25 tax brackets below the town's intended purpose. So true. You know what? Huntington Beach is like that. Everyone who is from there is 10 times richer than you. Or like Playa del Rey. There are certain places where if someone says, oh, I'm from Playa, you're like, oh, okay, you're rich. Absolutely, Ty. That gear is Has a million pockets. It's all insulated. I love I have a black pair. Every time I wear them, like people at my job, they're like, "Uh-oh, here it comes." Cuz I'm swishing. I'm happy that it's cold. I lived in Oregon for a while, and so when I lived in Oregon, all of these clothes were in play, and I dressed like everybody else. But when I moved back to California, my Oregon pants were not in style anymore. I looked up golf lessons the other day, but only found classes for kids. Do you live in a place where people golf a lot? Because I feel like I live in a place that like the PGA Tour comes by. So there's lessons for everybody. Espe- I was in a hockey league for over 40s. And there was this weird agreement like, hey, we're only here to play hockey. None of us are going to the bigs. I would love to be in a group of people of over 40s because you're kind of all at the same, you're kind of doing, you're at the same pace. Oh my God, 100 degrees until Saturday. Oh, Rashad, it was 91 degrees this morning at 11 o'clock. It was not. That's why I was on your stream with the lights off because it was freezing. I'm sorry, because it was warm. I wish it was freezing. I guess it's limited in Delaware. Such a beautiful place, though. I've been in Delaware. It is beautiful. That's so weird. They're people love golfing here in Southern California. There is definitely some golfers here. So Rashawn, you're not a heat person, huh? Do you prefer the cold or the heat? If you were going for the cup if you were going for the cup in the 40s plus group, everyone would end up broken in the corners before the end of the first. The hockey, the hockey league that I was in was actually funny because we would 15 minutes, quarter, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, but in between breaks half of the people would be outside in their gear, and this was ice, so they'd have to cover their skates. They'd all be smoking in the parking lot. People would literally be drinking on the sidelines. No one was there trying to be professional. It was 89 here today. I said this a month ago. I'm not ready for the heat. We're like in full grips of it. I'm not ready for the heat. I missed that over 40 hockey league. Everything got ruined because of the plague. Everything. That was my go-to. Because I could go and blow off a little bit of steam. And the funny thing was, like, nobody was coming through with mega hits. No one was chipping with their hockey stick. It was just a bunch of huffy old guys playing hockey. I miss that league. Ugh. Do you know what should I make? I need to make something in celebration of the heat. Because the more and more and more I cry about it, I need to get over it. I was thinking about making something like what Lenny Kravitz was wearing in the "Are You Gonna Go My Way" video, but I was thinking about making it in blue. Because here in the House of Sewing, we are grown adults. Let me check my notes. I love how this came out. I absolutely love how this came out. If I could find my notes. I have a question for everybody. It was up in the 90s today, which is unusual, but my back and neck loved it. It's gonna be just as hot all week. Go for it, we girl. I agree. Speaking of growing, is Twitter X deceased? Is it muerte? Or is it just me? just like in my YouTube channel, my Twitter was I just would post clothes and a quote. I literally would quote Eric Hoffer, Mass Movements. If you're into books, you should read it. It's a great book. But my Twitter is nothing but quotes, just a ton of Eric Hoffer quotes. But I got over the bile and just the weirdness of Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. But 3,000 something people are still subscribed to me. And I feel like, I was an oasis on Twitter, but I'm not here to fight people. But I have a question though, for real. Is Twitter the way of the dodo? I use it to post links. It was a great way to get my name out there, but Twitter brought nothing but drama in my life. I don't even have a Twitter. I'm a long time ago, somebody who's a YouTuber, they told me, at least in this particular group, in order to be a YouTuber, you needed a Twitter. And then I can see a lot of ways of why you do, because people send links to each other. But man, I can send you a link on Discord. I can send you a link on Facebook. There's other sites. I don't know. All social sites by default are drama. But like, besides me sleep posting last night and people unsubscribing because they don't like my style, there's really no drama, I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. People like, Twitter is like international waters. All of a sudden you get out there, cigarettes are $10 and there's people, there's an old timey fight on the deck, Twitter's crazy. And I just got over all the bile and the hatred. Like, in my day, I know it sounds weird and hippie-ish, but I don't go out seeking anger. If you saw the things that I watch, that's why I knew it was me that did a butt dial repost on that share last night, because it was a sewing machine video about a singer machine that I own, and I guarantee you it was just in my algorithm. The Surgeon General actually wants to put a warning on social media websites similar to the ones on cigarettes. For real, though, because I'm sitting here last night, I was like, do I want to bring Twitter back in my life? But I did make a lot of money off of it, but it wasn't worth it in the end, because I graduated and I've kind of moved my life and everything I'm doing in a completely different direction, And so I don't know. Is Twitter or am I just being dramatic? Because for a while I just kept trucking. But it's one of those things. I saw that tonight. So the Surgeon General actually does want to put a warning on social media. I think they should, especially for the unindoctrinated and people who aren't emotionally aware. I think they should. Like I said, I came into the internet a little bit older. I was in my late. Do you know, I looked up when I officially started my channel. It was 2018. Man, I was this plucky something, late 30. Look at me now, 6 years later, bitter with my palm tree coat on. I think they should put a warning on social media. I really think they should. But I've been doxxed, I've been stalked, and not even the fun stalk. Like, there's somebody that I've actually come to love. I've been like aggressively stalked. Uh-oh. Wow, 2000. Yeah, I've been on but I didn't start like, I've been on since 2018. I didn't say anything for almost a year and a half. I was intimidated to say something because I would see people doing this and I'm like, oh, wow, look at them. And then about, I don't know, about 4.5 years ago, 5-ish, I started streaming with other people. And then, my channel was born. Thank you. But I wasn't like, I didn't come out looking for subscribers. I haven't like, thank you, Ty. I'm really bad at promoting. I consider me just saying hi in a chat promoting, because if you're curious, you're going to click on it and see what I'm about anyways, you know? But I'm really bad. I need to get like Mick Foley and start doing cheap pops everywhere I go. Like, I had a good time in Minnesota last night. I'm just going to name. I'm going to start naming every place I've ever been to, starting with Gary, Indiana. I've been to Tallahassee, Florida. I've been to New York. I've been to Maine. I've been to Bangor, Maine. When I joined YouTube, they sent me a care package paper bag. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. And that's one thing I've watched YouTube change over the years. I actually consider what I do kind of old school YouTube, because I'm not like, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm not doing. But again, I came from a crowd of people that did things a very specific way. I saw what worked and what didn't work, and so I took my sewing machine and started my own channel. And the funny thing is, there are people who utterly and completely are mad at me for people I used to stream with. I have no gripes with anyone. I live my life in peace. I sleep snoring at night. I hope everyone succeeds. I hope everyone wins, especially my haters. I haven't been to any of those places. North Dakota, New York, South Dakota, and some Wyoming. I stayed to the colder and more mapley region. I have been from coast to coast. Somebody that I'm still friends with her. We drove from Santa Monica, California to Savannah, Georgia, all the way up to Maine. That was amazing. And then we drove back through the mapley parts of America, through the northern parts. That's why, in a weird way, when Fred Sanford talks about where he is in Michigan, part of me is like, I think I've been there. But don't quote me. Oh man, how long have we been going? Oh man, you know what's so funny? It doesn't feel like 2 hours. That's how you know. I'll hang out for a little bit longer. Let me take this coat off. It is starting to get hot in here. You know, I forgot I had this vest. This is my Kitty Death Metal vest. But when I took all the layers of clothes off this last night, I completely forgot I had this thing. Oh. Beautiful. I love working with this material because it's something that I started off with, because at first it was a little bit more easy. It's easy to cover up the strings. It's loose, but it's also stiff, if that makes sense. So when I first started making clothes all the time, I used much more coarse material. So when I use something like this, it brings me back to when I first started sewing. I love making stuff like this. Fred Sanford has a lot of maple trees. I'm going to go there. I am going to go to Fred Sanford's shop one day. You think I'm joking? Like, everyone's like, ha ha ha. No, you guys, like, in a month or two, it's gonna be me and Hans are gonna go to Michigan. You know what? If I told the tribe, if I told people around me, like, hey, let's go for a trip, they would go. You wore that coat longer than this stiff shirt. That stiff shirt was exposing many parts of it was showing. That shirt was a little too stiff. When you're walking around like this with a shirt, it is time to take it off. The stiff shirt, okay. All that tweed, all those drapes, and yes, I've been looking at the drape. all of the tweed, all of that, much like polyester, it doesn't breathe. So all of that tweed, all of it, in no way, shape, or form does it breathe. Excuse me. So you're sweating and you can feel the drip, the beads of sweat running down. On my Star Trek uniform, the old school one that's probably from the 60s or 70s, it is 100% polyester or whatever poly blend that makes it being able to survive a nuclear blast. But when I put it on, it doesn't show any outward signs of moisture because the polyester encases it and it literally comes dripping down. It's the craziest thing. And the drape material is just like that. Just like that. The tweed should breathe a bit if it's the right type. If it wicks for sure. Absolutely. For the tweed though, like anything else, even when I put my jacket on right now, my body temperature jumps up because you're putting this huge coat over yourself, you know? And so I think that's what happens when I wear tweed or anything like that. My already elevated body temperature jumps. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see, Bishop Robbery. I appreciate everybody who has been with me through my short era. That's what you get for buying random fabric all the time. that stuff does not breathe. But last night or this morning, Kilroy pointed out something on my short, how they have a heart in the jukebox. Like basically I picked a song off of YouTube, which is Heart Magic Man. I put it for my short. And YouTube is saying that it came from a jukebox or something like that. They're not giving credit. It's probably some legal thing where they don't have to pay them. But I thought that was funny how they mislabeled Heart. It is hard to get the right fabric and also get it from all for thrifts. I'd try that. Do you know what's really funny? I need to go see Modella, man. And that's the one thing that always tripped me out about going downtown is that he had like the most real prints, anything you could possibly think of, nothing fake at all in any way, shape, or form. But when I go to the swap meet, man, they have drapes. They have real tweed, fake tweed. I have got an education. And you know what? It started with that giant roll of orange tweed I bought. I purchased it. It was a legit roll because it had the factory label on it. And so I was able to go and learn everything I wanted to about it because I just looked it up online. And so I went to Tweed College. I did some Google Foo that evening and I learned so much about tweed. It's not even funny. That's how I know that one's a weird poly blend. And I can almost tell you where it came from. They should be placing the name of Heart as the band with all the other stuff, album, record company, etc. It's weird to me that they just don't give credit when they don't give credit like that. Heart, like, and you know what? I'm into all different types of music. It's just extremely good music. And as time goes on, people are going to forget about this. Name me a Frankie Valli song. I'll wait. Name me a big band. Name me a Cab Calloway song. For as much as we think these things are going to live forever, they don't. I love Factory Sleeper's Edges. Absolutely. Look at Harris tweet. Because you're the one who you actually introduced me to Harris tweet. I write down a lot of what you say, Alibaba. And then I'm there with my phone, like, all right, let's look this up. Talk to me like I'm 5. Greece is but Alibaba, like you and I, we know these things. Frankie Valli sung Grease. If you asked an under 30, they would look at you and be like, who's Frankie Valli? man, this even bringing up Frankie Valley makes me want to go busting. I have a bunch of old records from like the 60s on. Oh man, we came, we saw, we fully shablammed this evening. Today in 1775, the Americans took back Bunker Hill from the British. And today in 2024, the Boston Celtics won the NBA championship. I don't know if it means anything, but I think it's ironic. I think it's ironic. Oh, and today's Global Garbage Man Day. I don't know who needs to hear this. Where I live, garbage men and women make like $100,000 a year. The people who drive the trucks, there is a literal, I've said this a million times, there is a waiting list. And I'm probably on one of those old waiting lists. I would gladly go drive a truck all day for $100,000. My mom said she found my dad's parents' records, LPs and 78s from 30s and 40s records. And it's, oh, wow. I love stuff like that. Stuff like that needs to be preserved. I am so weird. You're going to laugh when I say this, but I'm very Indiana Jones, where I'm like, that should be in a museum, as I'm just hitting my microphone. But I am very Indiana Jones when it comes to that. I love stuff like that. In my possession, I have a Boy Scout card, like a Boy Scout pledge card. I think it's from like 1910 or 1911 or something crazy. Things like that need to be preserved. That's awesome, Alibaba. I love hearing, as a real life hoarder, I love hearing hearing stories about stuff like that. Today's Venus Williams' birthday. I said that earlier. Because of my insomnia, I watched her entire career because she was always on opposite hours of America. So I, by proxy, because of my insomnia, I'm a Venus Williams fan. I've literally watched her entire career. Oh. Oh man. Well, you guys kind of answered my question about Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I won't. Twitter just wasn't it for me. And it seemed like I do not go out seeking drama. That's why I sit here and sew in peace and make all kinds of crazy things and stand in the mirror and laugh and do the hammer dance, because I'd rather work on myself than be on Twitter all day judging people. And it's changed as well. And one of the reasons I'm waffling back and forth about Twitter is because I did make friends and some meaningful relationships on Twitter. It's become a cesspool. And I'm not here for that. I don't know. Today in 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York Harbor, and in 1945, Art Bell was born, and in 1994, OJ was arrested. I remember that one. That was they followed him. They followed him from the time I hit my. You know what's so funny? I almost did it again. Oh, I remember from the moment OJ did the Bronco thing, he was followed by the cops. I mean, by the cameras. He was followed by every news station. No matter what he did, no matter where he went, he was followed. Oh, see, Morris Day knew how to dress. Morris Day in the time. See, I love that style. They knew how to dress. And a lot of that are just simple designs and little plays on man, you got me going. That whole era. Oh we oh. I love Morris Day. And I've seen Purple Rain over 100-something times. I've seen Purple Rain like a ridiculous amount. And I had a good friend who I don't know why, but he always had it on at his house. It was weird. And after a while, I attributed the movie to this person because it was always on in the background. And they bought 100-inch television before they were popular. I'm not kidding you. Like, we all laugh, haha, 100 inches. They lived in this big house. I'm not kidding you. They put it up above their fireplace, which they never used. The TV was so big, you could only really see it from the kitchen. I love Morris Day. Oh, wow. And today in 2019, Gloria Vanderbilt died. Oh, wow. Isn't that Anderson Cooper's mom? Or am I wrong? Today is also National Mascot Day, National Ralph Day. You know, I stopped at Apple Strudel because I hit a chord with everybody. And everybody was like, I like apple strudels. You know, I love apple strudel. I don't think I've seen bigger than 75. It was huge. And the reason it hit my memory is because I walked in his house because he's like, you got to see this TV. I walked in and he had Purple Rain playing. It was huge. And I love gaudy stuff. 100 inches too damn big. Your neighbors across the street shouldn't be able to watch TV with you. I love gaudy stuff, but I want to be able to sit in the same room with it. And he had like I Made It house, and they had this big living room, and I'll never forget, like, if you sat on the side couch, you couldn't see the TV in the same room because you were like sitting underneath the TV. It was big. Makes me want to Ralph. See, Ollie knows what I'm talking about. When I saw it's National Ralph Day, I was like, man, the only Ralph and Earl I know are what you call it when you drink too much. It is a Monday. Absolutely, it is a Monday. Monday comes through and conquers. So nobody here wants a 100-inch television, huh? I wonder where the hell you get a 100-inch TV anyway. At my local, in my town, they sell them. Right now, they're going for like $575, $600-700. I was shocked. I walked by and I was telling myself, like, no, you do not. See, but I don't have a 100-inch television house. My neighbors literally would be watching TV with me. A friend of mine has one that looks like 110-inch, and it attracts bugs to the window. Oh, my friend had a 75 above the fireplace, and it's similar. Sit on the couch just 8 feet back, and you're looking at the sky. Thank you. That is so pointless to me. Oh. And the only reason I know that we have hundreds is because I go to Walmart way too much. And they have them in the aisle. And a couple years ago, 100 televisions were unaffordable. And now they're like $5, which is still ridiculous. Even Best Buy, the biggest TV they sell is like 185 inches. Which is still too damn big. I recently saw Sean Kingston. He's a nobody who went to jail for ripping people off. He purchased a television that was the size of a wall. And that's one of the reasons he got busted, is because, these people needed to get paid. And I have to look up how big that was. But he bought this television. They literally have to come into your house and build it. And these are not short people. And they're standing next to this wall. And I'm like, that entire wall is the television. 85. He ordered his and got a karaoke with it. And a good one. Oh, I love stuff like that. I'll go blotto with some karaoke. I love karaoke, and I don't even drink alcohol, and I will go crazy. 85 inches, that is crazy. I was about to say 85. That's so weird. You know what, though? I recently went to Best Buy, and Best Buy is bare bones compared to Walmart. At least the one by my house. It was weird. Because when I went in to buy my camera, I brought my family with me. I wanted them to see me make it in life. And Best Buy was strangely abandoned. It was weird to me because back in the day, I used to purchase DVDs and CDs at Best Buy all the time. I purchased a bunch of Star Trek DVDs there too because they were cheaper. I was about to say 185 is insane. Growing up, I had a friend that had a projector. He was like the one rich friend. He had a projector. Those are cool. That technology would be antiquated by today's standards, and I would still have something like that. It came from the ceiling. It was huge. See, that was cool. I would have something like that. Well, Best Buy does sell 100-inch, but you have to order it off their website, and it costs $3 to $4 grand. Sam's has an 86 for $900 right now. Do you know what I want? Which I really have to stop myself because no, I just don't have the room for it. I want that curved television. I don't know if you like gamers will know what I'm talking about. But there's a TV that literally curves around you. I kind of want to play that. And you know what's funny? I wouldn't even put anything fancy on it. I would put my Nintendo 64 on it and play GoldenEye as Odd Job. That's a 40, like 900 is crazy, but for a TV that big, I wonder how much power a 100-inch TV uses. Probably as much as an old tube TV. I never thought about that. I didn't think about that. In my living room, I have, I think it's like a 70-inch, and it's gaudy. And before everyone thinks I'm cool, my mom had it and didn't want it, and I was like, I'll take it. And I literally walked home with that thing. It is so big that when I sit on my coffee table and it's in like, when it's in 4K or HD or whatever it is, when I sit on my coffee table, especially when I watch football, I feel like I'm on the field. Because my coffee table is weirdly in front of my television. Like when I say, I'm watching hockey in my house, that's where I'm watching it. And I'm sitting in with my glasses off, just sitting in front of the TV like this. And that's 70 inches. The curved one would be nice for flight sim. Oh, all day. IR goggles are really good for flight sim. Do you know what's really funny? My son has an Oculus. I was weird to me. I just ended up hanging out in the lounge the whole time because I was like, whoa. I was flinching on the roller coaster. The Oculus did me wrong. I have a love-hate for the Oculus and cars. If you need a curved screen to play video games, it might be time for you to lay off the games and lay in the sun and listen to the radio. To be fair, I do that too. I'm addicted to talk radio. But lately, it's just been like I end up listening to ESPN radio because they're the most consistent radio in Los Angeles. Saw my first big curved screen in Ghana, and it was wild. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of this is born from just me being habitually online and seeing people with these and being like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that is cool. I was watching the news. People with wall-mounted TVs want to decorate around it. It was a local service that builds cabinets around TVs. In 50 years, we will have regressed to floor models. You are not kidding. The first thing that I thought of was my grandmother refused to get rid of her old Radiation King television. And I still am mad. I wondered what happened to that thing. That thing was a piece of art. The wood around it, it was a piece of art. And when it broke down and died, she put it in the corner. She covered it with like a tablecloth and used it as a cabinet. Oh man, I wonder I had ideas of turning that into an aquarium, but by the time I came around, it was gone. I tried VR bowling. I was addicted to Wii bowling. 710 ESPN LA used to be my daily station. I love that. That's my station. Even with Marcellus, Wolfie, Wiley, but they got rid of him a while ago. But like, I loved that station. I've been listening to it for, excuse me, for a long time. It's weirdly consistent. Well, if people are gonna be buying 500-inch TVs in the future, we're gonna have to put them on the floor. That's for real. How long before one wall in house in apartments becomes an LED TV wall? I'm telling you, Sean Kingston went to jail over something like that. He had this. Let me see if I can find it. All right, let me see. Sean Kingston wall-to-wall television. Oh, they have videos. Let's see if they have images. Oh, come on. Is he standing in front of it? They have videos. I wonder, can I play a CBS News clip? Oh my God, I had a Ford TV as a kid. Like, exactly. Exactly. Those were good memories. Those were good memories. I miss Dr. Clapper. Oh, a lot of museums are making special presentations in VR versus having the real thing and real people in front of you. I think that's a scam. I agree with you. I refuse to go to the Louvre. Go there. Go there. It'll be one of the greatest trips you've ever had in your life. You'll tell more stories about how you got to France than just being there. Go to the Louvre. Don't do the tour. I agree with Kilroy. It costs as much as an actual special presentation did before. What? They did it. Oh, they did it and made a lower VR price. Do you have an indoor thermometer? I'm curious how hot it gets when the cam dies. Do you know what, Rashawn? I'm gonna grab one of the. I'm sure I have one. It's really funny to bring that up because I want to know too for science. I don't come in here like this is my happy place, and when it's too hot, I'm like, man, I can't go out there yet. It gets steamy in here. Sean was outside in his panties. Oh, it is horrible when you get arrested on TV. We had a black and white floor model. When that gave out, then we gutted it and put a Sony Oh, those were the days. Alibaba. I had a black and white. The first TV I had in my room, I told my dad I wanted TV. He was like, okay. I had a black and white television that only had 13 channels. And when the knob went out, my dad was like, here's a pair of channel locks. And so I literally had a pair of channel locks to change the channel. We never had an official floor model, but those old TVs were so heavy that ours was a floor model a lot of the time. Do you know what I miss? Are those old school big screen TVs that were just a giant box? Oh, I took one up to my job and shot it full of arrows. And I was talking to this guy who was doing a fire inspector. And he was like, oh, your operation is so well put together. You're not like those guys that shoot those old TVs. And I was like, why do people do that? And he's like, oh, there's all this hazardous stuff in it. And I'm like, oh. My first thought was like, well, I'm still here. Oh. Oh. Do you know what's funny, Ty, is that when I typed in Sean Kingston, that was one of the first videos that popped up. Where is the TV one? I just watched that video about Sean Kingston and that giant television. Sean Kingston television theft. Let's try that. $1 million fraud case I wanted a picture, guys. Can you guys give me a picture, please? There's a picture of him standing in front of this television. He ripped this guy off so hard just on promises. I would be so mad because as someone who installs stuff, that's your livelihood. Ours was 13 too, exactly. The black and white and the Sony only had 13 channels. Those were the days. Don't make me bust out the piano. Oh, those were the days. It was a 1975 Sony. Oh. CR tubes all have the toxic materials inside. I didn't know. And on the fire inspector was talking to me. He's like, you would never do that. And I was like, no, sir. And in my mind, because I have a compound bow, me and my son were shooting it with the compound bow. We're both still here. If it was a projection TV, those things are just plastic and circuit boards. I took apart those ones, got some badass lenses out of it. That's exactly what it was. It was huge, too. He was on his phone outside, panties on. Have a great night, Rashawn. Thank you for stopping by. Had a good time today. Had a good time. As always. Oh, Ty, you know that image is going to live rent-free in my head now. I wonder how much he paid for that vest. When I saw Jason Derulo in real life and he was wearing something like I wear, my first thought was, how much money did he pay for that? How much money? Because he was wearing just something that was covered in patches. And my first thought was, I know you didn't make that. I know you didn't make that. So if anyone ever sees Jason Derulo, ask him how much he paid for his And I'm so sad. Like, I was at Walmart and I'm not kidding you. And this is no disrespect to Jason Derulo in any way, shape, or form, but he had a hype man and they literally had a dude with a strobe light. So they had good lighting. And I had to ask the cashier. I was like, oh, you look under 30. Do you know who that is? And they were like, that's Jason Derulo. You don't know who that is? I was like, I know now. But when I see people wearing these vests and everything, it shocks me how much money they pay for them. So if you need a $700 vest, come find Mr. Sully. I'll hook you up. Yeah, I was so lost when I saw those pigs. The whole time that I was scrolling right now, I was looking at those pigs. I was like, I have to click off. I have to click back on StreamYards. Do you know what's funny? As a middle class nobody, it's not that I'm up in these people's lives. It's just weird when people who are famous get busted for doing crazy things. I've only heard of him. Don't know why he's famous. He sang one song years ago, and in today's world, you make millions off of that. Residuals. He had a song with Justin Bieber. He made money. Like, he had hits when they were children. Now he's a grown man scamming people. And you know what? I don't think people realize, like, man, fraud is real. You can't just keep on getting credit from people and not expecting them to get payment. I do a lot of side jobs. I couldn't imagine putting in a wrought iron fence. I'm not doing it for free. Do you know how hard it is? Or just like even simple welding jobs. Like, there's no way you gotta pay me up front. Oh, the second you said that, it was stuck in my head because that was one of those songs that were just played over and over and over. Again, one of the reasons that these stories are so polarizing is because, these people supposedly are living the good life. And I always say this as somebody who is constantly covering for my own insecurities and as a hoarder. Who are you buying this stuff for? Who are you flossing for? Being rich is cool, but I would rather be like Notorious B.I.G. said it the best. You drive your crummy car to the house you own. I would rather drive my crummy car to the house I own, At least MJ and Madonna had to keep on coming up with music. They didn't skate off one song for years and years. No, for real though. And that's the disparity in the money nowadays. The money is so humongous. This guy made one song in the modern era and was still living off of it. Beautiful Girls is a Van Halen song to me. Absolutely. There's so many rappers I know that they rented all that stuff. There's The Roots. They have a song. It's called What They Do, I believe. That video breaks it down. Because in the song, they're rocking out. They have all this champagne. They're like, this is rented. This house is rented. They're like, these people were hired to be around us. I love that song. Never do what they do. I love that song. But it really exposes how much of a fraud people are. Even out, man, I live in LA. People will go out of their way to have like the best car, the freshest shoes. No one cares. I'm looking because I'm a fashion hound. I'm like, I bet you paid full price for those. Yep, you can just rent Lambos and shit and do good do good in the video. I know somebody, and this is some Monday motivation. I have a friend who grew up rich. I mean, like hardcore rich. Okay, he's never gonna want for anything in life. When we were kids, he had posters of Ferrari Testarossas, all these cars on his wall. He used to always say, when I'm older, I'm going to own all of these cars. He is real life rich. He posts on Facebook all the time. Look, I rented a Lambo. Look, I rented this or that. He can afford to buy these cars and he doesn't. And he doesn't. He rents them. So think about that. Someone who can afford to buy these is renting them. Right? I'm all about discount prices. I think about this all the time. Even like in my neighborhood, people try to keep up with the Joneses, and it's like, for what? For why? This is one of the reasons I'm kind of glad I was raised by a hillbilly. I don't have the inner desire to keep up with anybody. That's why I dress like Willie Nelson's illegitimate child. Because I'm not trying to impress people. I don't know. It's one of those weird things. It's weird to me when people sell out who they are in order to impress other people. People are going to love you or hate you regardless. So just be yourself, you know? Those cars are a lot of upkeep and a certain amount of use. That is so true. I've said it a million times. There is someone in my neighborhood who owns one. Whenever the sun is shining, he's out driving it. But again, he lives in a neighborhood of 3 to 4 bedroom houses, and this man drives a Lambo. No, I'm sorry. He recently purchased a Ferrari. And my friend who can afford to buy one lives in a big house, and he drives his Prius up to his house. It's funny that way. I know a guy with a 1980 Ferrari. I would rock the same. See, that's the thing. Like, that's different. If you gave me the Magnum PI car, I would rock that. I told you about, I've tried to buy the Bat car 4 different times. But I want the Michael Keaton version. It's just a Dodge. Dodge, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Dodge made quite a few Bat cars in the early 90s. I wanted that car so bad. Every time I go to buy one, the sellers are like, this is a piece of junk. Do you really want this? So you have to be honest with yourself with crazy stuff like that. I say that and watch. One day you're going to see a video of like, I finally lost it and I bought a Bat car. It takes a lot to keep it on the road too. That is true. That has been my main deterrent on buying really fancy cars. I own Fords. I can find parts anywhere. Well, I guess I could find parts for the Bat car too. That, and I watched Drew Carey when I was younger, and I'm trying not to become like Drew Carey in the Drew Carey show. But one day I will own a Bat car. My new 03 Eclipse made me feel like back then. Oh man, an 03 Eclipse. I remember that whole line. I had a friend who had one. Those cars were fun. One of the greatest summers I ever had was with that person who owned an Eclipse. Good times. Good times. I'm too practical for a really fancy car. I like hauling stuff. That's why I like my big truck. You know, the other one is just a dud, but my I don't know. I do not have that pretentious streak though. Like I said earlier, like I have no shame. I'm okay with showing my strings of on my jacket on a short. Like, I don't know. I am too practical, I guess. It's one of those strange things though. Like Alibaba said, it's the upkeep though. I was really lucky I got an older. Oh man, I would have turned that man. Those cars around here, you can get a lot of money for one of those. Where I live in LA, somebody would pay you a lot of money for one of those. A really nice posh car. All those old school cars, people turn into lowriders around here. If you have anything that's an old school car, I watched someone sell a Brougham for more than a modern car because somebody really, really, really wanted it. Oh man, that thing sat in front of my friend's house for like 25 years and someone wanted it and they were like, really? You really want the thing? Oh. Is there something impractical that you would want though? I've been watching Airwolf. I want to live in a world where everybody has access to helicopters. I said this 5 years ago and people thought I was crazy. I wouldn't mind having a Chinook helicopter in my driveway, but that's impractical. There is somebody in my neighborhood that owns a Healy tank. It's a World War II British tank, but it's also the size of a Suburban. Hey, skids! The Batmobile was built upon a Chevrolet Impala chassis with a Chevy V8 engine. I want one that works. I want one that works. Every time I've ever gone to purchase one, they're really honest, and I appreciate it. It would just be me fixing on the back car. How crazy would you look with a broken down back car on the side of the road? And I couldn't get in the back car unless I had full regalia on. Oh, and hands could be Robin. I want a blimp. Do you know how humongous blimps are? They're a lightweight tank. I didn't realize when I was in 1990 something, the Dodgers were in the playoffs with the Reds, and I remember looking up and seeing the Goodyear blimp. I knew someone that lived in Carson, California, where the blimp was housed. They randomly float that around Carson. The Goodyear blimp is humongous. Oh, it would be nice to have a tank that morphs into an aircraft. Thank you, Todd. Now, that is my kind of tank right there. You can attract a crowd and fundraise for the car to get fixed, though. Very true. Very true. I think it's because I watched the Drew Carey show too much when I was a kid. I think that's the real reason that's deterring me from getting a back car. Because there's a scene where he works up to getting the back car. Then he gets the back car and he sits in it and he's like, I'm a 40-something-year-old man who owns a back car. And then there's that moment of oh, I'm an ultra geek, but I still want one bad. I've seen a floating Sherman tank they used in D-Day. Wow. I'm going to have to ask that guy with the Healy. He's actually really nice. I saw a Model T the other day and it made me think of you guys because the guy drove by and I was like, that's not the original package. And he just laughed because he was going at least 40. Well, he was in a parking lot, but he was cooking and booking. I want a bad car so bad, Ty. I want a bad car. But then I'll just be that weird middle-aged guy with a bad car. I almost bought a General Lee back in my more naive day. Oh, but then you and Kid Rock would have something in common, Skid Scratch. Oh, that's funny. I would rock a General Lee. I would cover it. Do you know what's really funny? When I first started streaming, I said I was gonna make a truck called the William Tecumseh Sherman. That was my answer to the General Lee. And if you have the money, steal my idea. Steal it. That one's free. Skids, I would still buy a Dodge Ford. No, those Chargers were, oh, are you kidding? Those things were beasts. Root beer brown color. Oh, those things were absolute beasts. Those cars, as someone until the bubble burst, as someone who used to buy and sell cars, those cars are, now you couldn't find one. You couldn't find one for a decent price. Oh, those were the good old days. Is it wrong that I'm addicted to cheap Chinese food? Is it wrong that I drive 3 towns over? I live in LA, so it's not as dramatic as it sounds because the freeway connects all of us, but it's a good 20 miles from my house. Well, like 15. My son looked at me and he's like, this is not a good habit, man. I almost got a 1969 Roadrunner 446 pack for $5K. That's unheard of. That is unheard of. That's awesome, Alibaba. I would love something like that. If it's wrong, I don't want to be right. It's next to a thrift store that I've purchased many sewing machines, and I just walked in one day. I was really hungry. They have the best food. Apparently, you have a stomach of steel. No one is kind to and it's in the hood. Like, they think I'm from that neighborhood because I'm there so much, they think I'm from there, but I am in love with this place. I can't. I am officially addicted to Chinese food, and I knew that it was over when my son was giving me a hard time because he's my little conscience, and he was like, sir, we go here all the time now. It was fun at first, but we go here all the time. And a Chrysler was full size, but 4-seater was a cockpit designer factory. My father had a Lincoln Continental Alibaba, and I'm not kidding you. That car was so humongous. I could sit in the middle, put my arms out, and not touch my brother and sister. I'm not like, he had a real life Lincoln Continental. I could do this and not touch my siblings. Those cars were humongous. 2K for a Cross Ram 426. Oh, wow. But needless to say, I was shamed. And then and then he told my boss, and my boss was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Sounds like a 1970s Lincoln. It was humongous, and it had the diamond in the back too. It had the huge diamond in the back. I just ate a McDonald's cheeseburger, and we'll pay the price in the morning. I'm addicted to McDonald's breakfast. If I'm up my that was another thing. My son gave me a hard time 2 weeks ago. I walked out at like 7 something in the morning. He was awake. I was like, you want to go to McDonald's? He was like, yeah, let's go. I did that the other day, and he was like, no, that stuff's bad for you. I was like, I'm gonna go by myself then. I love their breakfast. Absolutely love their breakfast. Is it weird? Is it weird that you eat something? Their breakfast is good. Okay, this is gonna sound strange. One of the reasons I'm so in love with it is because of the consistency. It has tasted the same since I was a child, and that's rare. That is so rare. Sounds like you need to toughen that stomach up or something. The McDonald's cheeseburger is the easiest to digest. Sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin. Thank you. Thank you. And they have a deal by my house where you get two for a couple bucks, and I get those. I and and I have yet to be burnt on them yet. I was addicted to Carl's Jr. I don't know. On the East Coast, it's called Hardee's. They had buttermilk biscuits, a breakfast sandwich. I was hooked. You couldn't tell me anything. I would go all the time. It was bad for my blood pressure. And then one day I got a badly cooked one and I never went back. One was undercooked and one was overcooked and I never went back. McDonald's. Man, come on. I'm in my 40s. Let's be real. I've been eating McDonald's as long as I can remember. It still tastes exactly the same as from when I was a child. Absolutely, Ty. It is the nostalgia. I've been to Mickey D's in over a decade. That's crazy to me, Alibaba. I think it's because, like, I live by a place that we call Hamburger Hill. And this is I'm not trying to dog on any Vietnam veteran. I grew up with one. But by my house, we have over like 15, 20 fast food places on the hill by my house. And so because of that, like there's a McDonald's literally within walking distance of my house. Well, I wouldn't walk there. I've always hated any breakfast food, especially eggs. I can't look at them cooking or after they're cooked, I'll puke. I can just use them in baking. That's it. I'm addicted to breakfast. Bad for blood pressure, good for the soul. I say this all the time because I can't eat pastrami. Like I have, and I say this all the time. I know he's canceled, but I like. Well, I won't bring that up. I cannot eat pastrami like I used to. I'm addicted to hoagie sandwiches. I'm addicted to French dip, all of that stuff. I can't eat it like I used to because I won't live to be 50. If you haven't been eating McDonald's since you were like 4, you're either from the Soviet Union or you're a liar. I almost fell out of my chair. On that one. It's true, though. It's true. Oh, man. I had the Moon Man. I'm old. I had the Moon Man toys, what was that? The Tiny Toon cars with the two characters that flipped over. I loved McDonald's when I was a kid. See, but then it was a treat back then. It's different. Not like this generation, me, who spoil their kids and let them have anything they want. Me, I did that to my child. But again, even with me saying this, I don't eat this every day. Because of my crazy style, I'm not in the mood to eat McDonald's sometimes at 3:30 in the morning. The little sandwiches. And I think that's another thing with inflation. And my son and I have this conversation all the time. There's a semi-fancy restaurant by my house. It's a barbecue place, but it's semi-fancy. Excuse me, pre-panny, it was like $20 a plate. Well, now it's like $15 a plate. McDonald's, Burger King, all that stuff is the same price. My son and I have this conversation all the time because I take him there. I'm like, literally, if you take a receipt from McDonald's when we go out, it's the same price from when we go and sit down at a fancy restaurant. So I would rather go to the fancy restaurant. I remember when they had functional playgrounds. Now all their places look like an ultra corporate emo designed them. It's true. And the one by my house, I have no idea why. I weirdly look up Amazon reviews and Google reviews. I do. I don't know why. I have issues. And blame Kilroy for the Amazon reviews because I would kind of look at them. Then Kilroy was like, I look at Amazon reviews. I started reading Amazon reviews. Oh wow, there's a reason why space aliens don't visit us. Shit, heck out Victorian era playground. But there was this review of, and I noticed it because I go all the time. The playground is closed at the one by my house, and I never noticed it until someone said it in a complaint. They were like, this $1 million McDonald's playground is always closed. They spent all this money to fix it up by my house, and it's always closed. Our McDonald's combos are really 22 and up. Yup. You know, I've said this, and people always laugh. My parents were old school, so they love chicken, and we would always eat like Pioneer back in the day, all kinds of stuff. My dad passed away years ago, but my mom calls me and she's like, I want Popeyes. And I love my mother, and I go get it for her. In California, the 8-piece at Popeyes by my house starts at $36. When I go to get food for my mother and my son, I spend at least $60 at Popeyes. I'm not kidding you. I'll show you the receipts. It's crazy out here where I live. It's crazy. That's why when I went to Nevada, I went crazy eating food because everything is 10 times less. 10 times less. I'm weird. I don't check out Google reviews for places I want to go to, but I check them out for places I've already been. There was an old one near me where I lived in Germany. There was a small castle thing with slides, but it was mortar and rock built. Aw. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, there, because a long time ago, I saw this meme on Twitter that said, California Popeyes has lost its brains, and they showed a receipt, and I was like, everybody doesn't pay those prices because, you know, I hadn't left California since pre-Panny. I didn't know. Not where I'm at, Ty. They still have $8 to $10 around me. Maybe they're that expensive in California, aka the land of $20 an hour burger flipper. It is true though. Oh my god, but have you tried their apple pie? Yes, kids. I go crazy. When I go to Popeyes, I go crazy because if I'm going to spend all that money, I'm going to at least enjoy myself. And you would have laughed. You would have laughed. This poor kid, we got a bunch of food last time we went, and we were checking everything. And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, can I get a couple dipping sauces? And he was like, but we chop. And I looked at him. He didn't even finish the sentence. I was like, I just spent $60, bro. He hooked it up with the sauce. It's crazy out here. You like I said this the other day. Like our traffic tickets start at 1,100, and that's Southern California. They did that on purpose to completely bankrupt people. Because they figure like we have weird license laws here where anyone can get a license. So what they do is if you get a ticket, like they own you. It's crazy. You know what though? It's a sign. It's just a sign of the times, I guess. You know, it's crazy here. Oh, I thought I saw another. There we go. It's 11 and up here. Our let me see. Hold on. Let me instead of just sitting here, Wolfit, let me look because I keep receipts. Oh, that's Joanne's. I keep a crazy amount of receipts here. That's another thrift store. That's Goodwill. Oh, come on, man. Let's get some food receipts in here. This is I spent $85 at the grocery store just buying food for 3 people, and that was like at a weird delicatessen they had. Man, I go to the Goodwill a lot. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. In Southern California, a meatball with a large drink is $15.31. Oh, I'm so shaky. Get help, William. Good grief. Hold on. Did I pay with a card? No, I paid cash. And we also get we get taxed here too. We pay for everything. Like when you buy bottles and cans, they assume you're going to recycle. So you pay a CRV, which is basically a California tax. I'm eating at home. That's all. All people love me. They gave me Father's Day cards. That's cheap. Like, let's see. Oh, that's actually affordable. I was about to gripe about milk, but that's actually still semi affordable. Oh, these are all my Nevada receipts. I am telling you, Nevada is so much cheaper than California, but then you have to live in Nevada. I've been audited. If anyone's ever wondering why I keep my receipts, I've been audited by the IRS. I keep receipts for anything. Come at me, bro. I'm an auditor's nightmare though, because they're not in order. A Sprite at Walmart was $3.38. One of those, like, one in the cabinet. I grabbed it because I was thirsty. I thought I'd have more food receipts in here, but it makes sense that I do not, because these are all the grocery store receipts. But it's expensive to live where I live, and I'm gonna say, I've said this a million times, I don't know how people do it. This was a Walmart trip where I was just bored one time and I spent 60 something bucks. Like, I don't know how people do it. That is just a miserable little meatball sub. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's insane. And my son, he's consistent. He gets the same thing every time. He would always buy chips at Subway. I went to the grocery store and I was like, you get the same chips? I bought a giant bag. I was like, look, magically, you don't have to buy chips at Subway anymore. Over it. The speeding ticket here in PA are $35 to $42 plus $2 for every... What? I can afford to drive really fast in PA. I've been eating at Popeyes a lot. Good deal on DoorDash. 2 sandwiches, 12 wings, and a large side for $12. That's not bad. The gas station here has has chocolate bars for $4. Yep. It's crazy. Skits, I'm gonna go to Northern California. That's cheaper than here. It's insane. I feel bad for people. I don't know how they do it. I'm looking. I'm gonna stop in a second, but I'm looking to see if I can find a food receipt just to illustrate how insane food is here. But I go to Walmart a lot. All right, I'll stop. I go to Walmart way too much. I should be sponsored by Walmart. Walmart should be paying me. That is crazy. We are at 7.30. A gallon too? No way. Yeah, but wow, I won't complain. We're at 5 something here. We pay almost $6 here in California for gas. Almost a solid $6. Hey, I forgot I had that harmonica. Okay, I'm gonna stop digging. I go to the thrift store too much. But I think if you go more than 20 to 30 miles an hour, 25 25 to 30 miles an hour over, you gotta go get to traffic school before you get your license back. And we have points too, so it isn't like you can keep paying tickets. Oh yeah, it's like that here too. Once you get a certain amount of points there, like you're done. And the state of California will like ban you for life from getting a California license. They do not play. Like they do not. It's like 385. I wish. I pump, seriously. Because I pay with my debit card, I pump my gas like this. I'm not kidding you. Especially with my truck, I put it in and I turn my back to everything. Oh, that's in Canadian dollars. That's still a lot of money though for gas. For as much as I drive around, I think about that all the time. Like, if I lived somewhere else, I could probably drive around more. I love the German Autobahn. Some areas are no speed limit still. Cars are going 300 kilometers an hour. Ooh, they would literally be flying past you. Literally. I'm serious, Ty. I'm serious. Like, gas is almost $6. At least I know it's coming straight out of my bank account. And I could hear the gulk, 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 gulk. I could just hear the dollar signs. Even my air conditioner. Like, for as much as I love my air conditioner, man, that thing is a money machine. I'm gonna cry. I am going to cry. You know why? It's because I saw my bill yesterday and I was like, oh, I should start having baseball games outside my house. I just need to put lights out and start having games or something. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Sir, there are other places to live that the most expensive ones. I agree. This is back to me. But I keep on talking about like I said, Australia wants me to move there. I don't think I could. At my age, I'm too stuck in my ways. My son would have a great time. He could acclimate to the culture. I would be at McDonald's the whole time. Oh. Sir, there are other places to live than the most expensive ones. And you are right, I do need my glasses. When I had a large SUV, I had to swipe my card twice, 135 to fill up premium. Yes. Yeah, and that's another thing. My card takes my Flex takes like the top tier gas, so it's expensive. You need your glasses, you said? I do. I could move to Germany, right? Fit right in. France, somewhat Italy. I always thought about that, about the UK, and then I went there and I was like, I couldn't live here. It's just we're so different, and that's not and there are parts I could live like there are parts of London that remind me of Los Angeles. That's not the issue. That's not the issue at all. It's more of culturally speaking. There's places in America that would be culture shock for me. I could live in Switzerland easy too. I charge a fee. I charge for free at the public charger next to my place. Are you talking about electric car? Oh man, you are talking about electric car. That is one thing I refuse to sign up for. Skits, you are from the future, and I am the troglodyte with my truck, walking with my gas tank. It's like Elysium. Skits is living in the clouds, and I'm the Matt Damon down on the planet. I liked that movie. We're all going to be driving cars like that pretty soon because it's a mandate in the state of California. And I always thought I wouldn't be living here by this time, but I'm still here. So by 2030, I think it's going to be the law that all cars need to be electric. So Skits is ahead of the curve. I have never seen one regular use. I have never seen one regular use electric last over 3 years and still have some range. My neighbors all have electric cars. One I think is over 3 years old, but what's it called? Like it's really weird. On this side of the street, all my neighbors, we're all old and antiquated. Everybody across the street is plugging in their cars. Every single person. Switzerland has too much red tape for US citizens. Do you know what's like? I discovered this really cruel thing about immigrating to other countries, and there are countries that don't joke. And for as much as I say Australia is begging me to come there, they'll kick you out. Australia will be like, get out of my country. I have seen them kick out the biggest and the baddest. But it's socioeconomics too. Like if you have a certain amount of money, you can move anywhere. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I've seen people, like I've seen two people. One that was below a couple 100,000 apply, and I saw someone who was above a couple 100,000, and the person who was below was denied going to the country, and the person who was above was accepted to the country. It's really weird. We have long distances. The cold and the distance kill the EV. I wondered about that because everybody has smart cars around here. Oh my gosh. Yesterday on the freeway, I almost clobbered someone in a smart car. They thought they like cut right in front of me and then hit their brakes. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing to protect you in that car. Oh, when you said smart car, that got me. That got me. I'm not interested in even going to Europe. It might look pretty, but most of it has a backward culture. I'm laughing because I traveled on a train from London to Wales. And I'm not saying it was far. It was just, we're different places. But everybody asked me where I was from in an extremely polite way. Great people. Great people. I was also 19 years old. That was 20-something years. Laugh out loud, Gilroy. Some would be for Americans. I've seen that before. No, people like I was in Canada during the George Bush days, and people would walk up to me like, "You're really cool. I don't like your president." People are weird, and like it depends on where you are and who you're around. And if you go to a more touristy area, they welcome people from around the world. It's when you get to places like you go to certain places where they want to keep their culture, they will kick you out. The Wawa near my house installed outlets for electric cars. It's weird. They're everywhere. The mall by my house was semi-abandoned, so they put in like 200 charging stations. So it's really weird that people like they're literally just plugging their cars in, and people will walk around the mall. They'll get their exercise in while their car's charging. I got great culture shock one time from the U.S. base. They dumped Susan B. Anthony dollar coins. Oh, I still have it. I knew someone that was a coin collector and an odd bill collector, so I have a ton of that stuff. And there's also that war thing. That's another great reason to knock up. I put this crazy, but I told a friend of mine who was a real life world traveler. She still travels. I was like, I want to go here and here, and she was like, William, there's a war. But because we're so far removed, we don't realize that there really is one going on right now. Kilroy is 100% correct. Excuse me. My dad got mad, but I said money was. I said WS money, laugh out loud, and kept them. Oh man. I ended up getting 225 at each point. Wow. I still collect my change. You'd be surprised how much change adds up. Hold on. Whoa. Oh, we've been going for 3:15. It is true. I cannot see without my glasses. But for anyone concerned, I drive with these. I walk around with them in everyday life. But it's all vanity. It is vanity. And this has been going on for years. I take my glasses off and on for years. Oh, it is weird to be able to see the chat now. No one had them because no one wanted one. In their change, sort of like the $2 bill. Yeah, but I have a ton of Sacagaweas. I have a ton of man, to me it's money. I have a ton of that stuff. I'm about to cash in my loose change. Ty, I showed you the poor box. I collect loose change. Before I went to Vegas, even my son was like, I'm gonna start collecting change because he saw how much money I had in that box. When that box starts getting heavy, I know it's like 80, 90 bucks. Change adds up. I dated somebody who was from Norway, and she was what I would call a professional waitress. She worked at all of like the really fancy places, and in her apartment, she had an Arrowhead bottle filled with change. Still to this day, I never found out how much money was in there. I was guesstimate. I always would guess there was hundreds of dollars in there. Should look through change. I do because I'm weird because I like all the new print coins. I collect a lot of coins. It does add up fast. Oh, wow. I really can't see the chat. Just $1 coins were huge. I remember when the Sacagaweas came out and people were freaking out. Hey, I'm from America, man. If it's legal tender, I'll take it. And back then, I used to take the LA Metro, and if you put anything over a $5 bill in, you got your change back in dollar coins. So if you put a 20 in, you're going to get 15, 16 bucks back in dollar coins. I think the new quarters they've been making are neat. Exactly. You know what's really funny? One of the reasons I started collecting a lot of the new coins too is because I go to the Coinstar. Man, I should find that receipt. When I cashed in my Vegas, when I went to Vegas, I cashed in. Let's say I had like 80 bucks. They taxed me for almost $9. I should have just went to the bank. My bank does it for free. The sack coins were much more common. In 1979, the Anthony ones were all shipped and used on bases, forcing them on the troops. That's mean. The thing that sucked about dollar coins is I could only find one or two pop-up machines that took them. That's true. But you know what's so funny? I thought about that too, but they'd sure give them out here in LA. When all that came out when I was dropped out of college and came back to LA, and I had stacks of those coins. I had only a big cup of coins. It was almost $100. You see, that's why I save my change. And now that I have the travel bug in me again, like I'm gonna start traveling again. So my change jar is gonna come in handy. Going to Vegas woke up something inside of me, and it showed me that like a lot of me not wanting to travel, it was just being in my head and watching way too much YouTube. Says the real life hermit crab. You know what's funny? I think as an American, I'm spoiled because we can travel. I can drive to Utah if I get bored. I can drive, I could drive through I could drive to Arizona. I could, drive to San Diego. I could go to Mexico. So it's different than in most places. Oh man, all this whole talk is making me want to go on another trip. Where should I go? I wanted to go to San Francisco, but San Francisco isn't what I remember it to be. It's not the place that I remember, and neither is Oakland. I want to travel somewhere in state. I might do a San Diego trip. I just have to find out when it's not Fleet Week. I'm seriously thinking about doing my so-called life does San Diego. Because going to Las Vegas, first off, everything was cheaper. Well, if I stay in the state of California, it'll be just as expensive. And San Diego is a tourist trap. A huge tourist trap. Have you ever driven across the border? Many of times, but I've never done it by myself. I've driven across the border many of times. As a child, we would go all the time, but the laws were different because you were allowed to bring stuff back. People would go to Mexico and just get insane amounts of stuff. The laws were way different back then. That's another reason I'll never go to Europe. Everything is here. And you don't need to get on a long flight across the ocean. Only thing Europe has that we don't are moldy castle. You should have saw my face when I was like, there's castles in Amsterdam. We were like, I was a very uncultured American. Yeah, I've driven across the border. I actually lived in Mexico. Twice, technically. The first time, it didn't feel like I was living there. The second time, I went there with full intent and purposes of never coming back. But it depends on who you. It's really weird. There's been times where I've driven over the border and they're like, they see us and they wave you on. There's been other times where there was one time I was with my grandparents. They damn near took the car apart. There was one time that was actually really funny. I drove from Arizona to California on the 8 freeway. We did not know this. The 8 freeway cuts through all of Arizona and comes to the tip of California, but it dips through Mexico. Me and my friend did not know this. The Border Patrol stopped us and they were like, "Welcome back to America." Me and my friend were like, "We didn't know we left America." I'm not kidding you. They were like, "Pull over." Man, they searched every inch of our car. And my friend had a Lexus. Their dog went in the back and was clawing at the leather seat. Oh, good times. Good times. We have moldy castles here in Quebec as one. It was also a walled city, and it is the late medieval. Oh, and is in the late medieval period. Wow, I did not know that. Facts. And now they're selling for $1. I did see that. Or people who are selling these mansions. Part of me, because I own a shop full of tools, if I could like mail me and my tools to that castle, I would buy it. Or like I saw this thing in Italy where they were selling these houses for $1 and it looks so picturesque and beautiful, but then you're living in this moldy old house. You know, it's so different to an American though, because I know a lot of European people and the first thing they say to an American is, "My building the building I live in is older than your country. It's all perspective. To them, it's a sense of pride. They're like, wow, there's culture and history. We are history. To an American, we're like, do you have central air? Do you have heating in there? It's different. It all depends on where you're from. And they're still selling them for $1. Oh, I viewed a few, but it looks too gloomy. I'm really weird on space. Like I need a warehouse. I need an airplane hangar for all my stuff. So I would do it, but then it always goes back to that question of like we were talking about this the other day with my cousin who lives in these sprawling mansions, but she lives in cow country. Could you live in a 9-bedroom house? And that's 9 bedrooms, not mentioning the bathrooms and the study and the backyard and the side yard and the garage. Could you live in a house that big? Sir, does your stupid old building have good electricity? No. I used to it used to kind of hurt my feelings when people would be like, I have stuff older than your country. But then I was like, well, I've been to your country and like you guys you're fighting mold right now. But to be fair, I lived in Mexico and they are very European in that sense too, where their buildings are ancient too. So it's not like it's only in Europe. I've been other places where they're telling us like this building is older than your entire country. Castles are always cold. Depends on the style of house. Plain roof, yes. With my amount of hoarding, I need an airplane hangar. I look at those too, Ty. You know what's so funny? I'm glad that I am not the only person who looks up those old moldy castles. Because I look up those things and I'm like, I could totally live there. But I love a challenge. I'm not scared of a challenge. Miranda has new construction. There are loads of old buildings in Europe where they have to open up the windows during the winter, otherwise moisture will make the ceiling moldy and eventually make it collapse. No, thank you. Now I just have Last of the Summer Wine theme song stuck in my head. I always had this dream of living in a town like that. And then I went to a town like that and I was like, I could never live here. First, because they wouldn't let me drive my big truck around, really. I've helped an old moldy castle and some 1500 buildings and up. Facts, Kilroy, rising damp, that stuff of nightmare. That is stuff of nightmares. Just like when Ty brought up going live. I'm not going to sleep with my phone tonight. I sleep posted, and now I'm scared of going live, and everybody's going to see that I sleep with matching pajamas on. No, thank you. No, thank you. I was so embarrassed this morning when I looked, and I actually, for real, in real life, I sleep posted for the first time, and I've been sleeping with my phone since the inception of the iPhone 4. So it's been a long time. Oh, I'm embarrassed. Oh. My building is older than your country. Your building is an old dump. Do you know what it was? It was back when I was also a baby YouTuber and I didn't want to offend people. So I wouldn't say things. Now, it wouldn't bother me now. Laugh out loud, my phone is resting on its... You know what's really funny? In my mind, Ty, I see your phone sitting there with a face mask on, cucumbers on its eyes, just chilling. Oh, God. Phone's living better than most people. I've seen I've seen rising dam, 2 stories, natural stone walls, 1 meter thick, but ivy had grown in lots of its past. Do you know what's really funny? Grapes are like that. Grapes grow like ivy. It's unreal. But grapes actually are seasonal. So they'll completely go dormant and then they come back. True. Safely. I used to love the ruined castles. I don't know if I could do that. Absolutely, Ty. Just chill it. Full mani petty for the phone. One thing I like is the snotty European who thinks that the reason we have to rebuild after tornadoes and hurricanes is because we don't build with brick. No, brick will be destroyed too. That's because they've never experienced something like that. Like, I try to explain earthquakes to people, but then I try to explain something like the 94, which I remember like the sun coming up, walking to the elementary school by my house, and it was completely leveled. I mean, like, it looked like a bomb had gone off. It's different when you live it. And that and all of those, and the funny thing is those buildings were built in the 50s, so they were well built. They were built to withstand a nuke, but they couldn't withstand an earthquake. I've seen a McDonald's. I've seen a McDonald's in a run that was restored. It is in Firebird. It's cool looking. You know what? They in LA they have all kinds, especially near LAX. They have this bunch of McDonald's that are incorporated into the city, and it's weird because it looks like an office building, but it's a McDonald's. It's weird, but again, McDonald's will work with you because they're a heartless corporation. Oh man, Johnny Mountain has to be. Alexa, how old is Johnny Mountain from KABC in Los Angeles?
From breakinglatest.news, the 37-year-old man encountered 3 males.
Alexa, thank you.
Anytime. Literally.
Alexa, how old is Johnny Mountain?
According to me, Johnny Mountain is approximately 80 years old.
Bro, he has had world-class plastic surgery. I know. Sorry, Ty. Sorry. I had to look up the age of one of our newscasters. He looks great for his age, but because he's been on TV my whole life, and he was in his 40s then, so he has to be in his 80s by now. This Mickey D's is part of the town of a town wall with one-way vehicle access through the wall. Oh, that's awesome. I'm pulling the cord. So, Kilroy, there is this weird thing in LA where our newscasters, are you ready? Johnny Mountain, there's Dallas Raines, there's oh, come on. They have crazy names. Johnny Mountain, Dallas Raines. Oh, what was the other guy? They name themselves these crazy names. But if you think about it, Johnny Mountain, he's in his 80s. He's been doing this since before I was born. They have crazy names here in LA. Our news, especially the older the older people, they've kept their names. You know. Oh, there's Dallas Raines, Johnny Mountain. What was the other one? Always gonna bother me, and the second I click off, I'm gonna remember. But in LA, you have to stick out. If you get bored, type in Los Angeles newscasters. Between some of the greatest plastic surgery of all time and some of the most beautiful people, our news is unreal. Our news is unreal because you'll be watching the news and you'll be like, why is everybody beautiful? Why is every single person sitting there? This is insulting. It's not a real reflection of real life. It's so funny. When I moved to Arizona when I was a kid, that was actually culture shock for me because they were only reporting the news. They weren't talking about Britney Spears. They weren't wearing Gucci suits. They were only talking about the news. Where I live, it's a show. You have to show out. You have to be the best, you know? I can't believe he's 80 years old. Good for him. I hope I'm working. I hope I'm not working, but sorry. I don't know why. Oh, the news is on because I was watching the basketball game. I really don't watch the news anymore, so it's all nostalgia because these people are still working after all of these years. All right. I think we've gone around Jupiter twice this evening. Oh, good times. Good times. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. Just doing this. Let me try that again. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Yeah, it's closing time. Oh man. You know what's really funny? Ty, were you the person who mentioned Hoobastank earlier? I was rocking out on the way to MMA class. I was like, I forgot about this. Oh, good times. It's been a good day. It has been a full day here in the House of Sewing. Oh, that's right. It was you. I was wrong. You took me back. When you brought up Hoobastank, you took me back. Oh, I love that whole era. I don't care like if it was cheesy or not. I don't care what anyone says. I am biased towards that whole era. Same. Oh man, how could you? I literally got flipped off for Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was really just singing the song. I was Mamma Mia, let him go. I was losing it. Come on, stay on an extra half hour and make it 4. Well, if you want to talk, this new weird thing has been happening where I'm passionate, okay? It's not a secret. I'm in my car and I'm singing. I flail my arms. And Rashawn flinched when I said flail because it's true. It was really weird. I was stuck in traffic and I was rocking out. I was singing. And when I passed these people, this couple, they were like flipping me off with full intent. And I was like, oh my gosh, is my singing that bad? But then it happened again. People think I'm gyrating towards them, but really it's me. It's me singing the woohoo song in my car. Do not put on I got my head shaved. Do not put on some 90s like rock. I lose it. Is that what you call it though? You know what? It's happened more than 3 times, so it's me. It's me. I don't blame anybody. I don't point the finger, but I am passionate. It's not rage singing though. I'm just a bad singer and I like dancing. I drove 12 hours to Atlanta screaming lyrics to Hoobastank. That's what I'm saying. When you find what you love and you sing it, it is something else. That too, if you put on South of Heaven, and that's another thing, like if you put on any Slayer album, I know it word for word because I was in high school once. Like I know, especially like there are certain songs I could sing from beginning to end, and I get into it. But your head isn't shaved. You're just plain bald. Oh man, I get into it. I sing my heart out. And it's happening. Like it's sad. People, and I don't know. I'm not saying like I don't walk around this earth thinking it's all about me. I do not walk around this earth thinking that anyone owes me anything. But it leads me to live in my own weird little bubble. And so it's kind of like, have you ever seen the movie Shaun of the Dead? I constantly reference it because I feel like that. I'm griping about some little like first world problem while the rest of the world is literally turning into zombies around me. And I'm like, oh, this and this happened today. My bobbin flipped out of my machine, you know. But people react to me dancing in my car. Maybe I'm voguing too hard. I don't know. And that's another thing. Like, I'm not kidding you. Vogue came on the radio. I sang it like it was my job. And somebody literally flipped me off because they thought I was wailing towards them. I'm passionate. I am just a passionate human. So that is my new weird thing where I don't know. It's so weird to me though. And I know you're supposed to pay attention to other cars, but like if I see someone dancing in their car, I'm like, that person is enjoying life. I wish I had whatever they have. I'll have what they're having. It's weird. I brought it up earlier, but people are freaking out when I'm dancing in my car. I'm gonna have to get, you know what? I need a new window in my Flex. I might get blacked out tint just so I can dance in peace. Laugh out loud, I'm normal. Folks frowning are the crazy ones. Thank you. Thank you, Ty. Like, live your life a little. Live your life a little. Do you know, where I'm from, we've always said go outside and touch grass. Recently, the man who's playing Doctor Who recently said that to a bunch of geeked out people. So people are freaking out about that. Man, go outside and touch some grass. Because if you like, when I see people enjoying their life, I stand there and I'm like, good for you. You will get pulled over all the time with that tint. That's why I don't have it. I don't like that tint. You know what drives me in? That's another beef that I have. I see people drive by with black tint and I'm like, how come they have it? And I can't. It's in my state, it's illegal. In Arizona and Nevada, it's legal, but for some reason in California, you cannot have a blacked out car. I just replaced my front window tint to the darkest so I can turn up. Thank you. It's hot, and it's been illegal where I live as long as I can remember. My older brother had he was in a car club. Oh man. And long story short, he had blacked out windows, and every time if you sat in the front seat, your job was to roll down the window if you saw a cop. And yes, people, I said roll. That's how long ago. I need to replace my front window. I am not happy about it. But it's just weird to me how oh, I was like, okay. It was stuck on one. I was like, what is that? Sorry, it was stuck on an old comment. But needless to say, my singing and dancing used to bring happiness to this world. Now it just invokes in anxiety out of people. I'm just living my life. I'm gonna put a sign on my car that says, I don't have a medical condition. I'm not mad at you. I'm just dancing. I'm old fashioned and roll down and up windows. It's just weird to me. It's weird that people are so judgmental nowadays. Again, it goes back to what I was saying, but it's more or less, I was raised by people who literally jammed it into my head to mind my own business. So I do as an adult. So when I find people being nosy, it's just weird to me. Here in PA, the most you can have is 70% tint. I've always wondered about that. Because like I said, like I when I was younger, I lived in Arizona and they don't have, man, you could go full like president tint where you can't see anything in there, you know. Nevada has a little bit not as loose, but they have pretty much the same law. And here you can't do that. even some of the fact, even there, I have seen people buy brand new cars and get pulled over by the tint because it came factory fresh. It's crazy. Quite frankly, like as long as I can see your turn signals, I don't want to see you. But again, I'm living my life. I'm in my car singing, finding a way downtown, homebound, something, something. When that song comes on, I am singing like I'm in a movie because I like living my life, And I'm naturally goofy, so I like having fun. But I'm going to have to tone down my dancing in my car. It's causing drama. I just thought that was really interesting. How weird things have become. Or maybe, I don't know, it's the plight of an individual when you're not doing your lemming thing with your head down. And I'm a passionate human. I like, especially if I'm feeling something, I'm not kidding you. After all these years later, if that song, I've got a good vibration, watch out. When that song comes on, I'm singing some CNC Music Factory. I have a dark tint waiver and paperwork registered with my vehicle. Oh man, you got where I live, everything's illegal. We have warnings on everything here. I think one of the reasons why is because our laws are extremely liberal here, so you won't go to jail for a lot of things. So they really cracked down on driving. I run the gas station in my car all the time, so people already look at me weird. I could go on a run with you. I miss being in a car with people that listen to freaking jazz station. That reminds me of every chill adult I knew when I was a kid. You knew like that person smoked if they were listening to jazz. Around here, it's either a carbon copy country station or a carbon copy rock station. My beef is even with Sirius. I have Sirius satellite. My beef is they play the same songs. I won't even lie, like the 80s rock. I don't know. The other day, it got me so pumped. I think there was something going on in my life an issue I didn't address. But I was pumping my fist in the car. The 80s rock station grabbed me. That's right. It was Ozzy's Boneyard. They played one hardcore song after another. But I think ever since Clear Channel bought everything out years ago, most stations are all owned by the same person because I obsessively listen to AM radio still, and there's not too many mom and pop radio stations like there used to be. Even here in the Los Angeles area, we had a ton of like privately owned radio stations, and they're all gone. Soft rock is dope. In a weird way, it wasn't until the plague where I had to admit to myself that I like mood music. But during the plague, I got really into those lo-fi channels, like just a lot of those weird chill channels. So I love soft rock. I love all that stuff. But I'm one of those people who like I'm always at an 11, so I like chilling out because I'm a turbo of a human being, and it does take a lot of energy. So I love just chilling out. And I grew up around people that were jacks of all trades. So I knew people that played jazz, that listened to jazz. Again, a world that really doesn't exist anymore unless you're really into it. I think about this all the time. Like, could you imagine how people in the big band era were like, oh, this music is going to live forever? I listened to Bobby Brown, and in a very naive way, I'm like, man, people are going to be listening to Bobby Brown 1,000 years from now. They won't. We don't even listen to the music 100 years ago. It was pouring rain one day when I went to pick up my son. I put on a 1940s radio station. I woke up with my son tapping on the window, like, "What is wrong with you? You fell asleep in the car." The 1940s music put me out. And every single song was brand new to me because I really hadn't heard any of it. I'm going to listen to that station tonight. It was embarrassing because he was banging on the window and I flinched hardcore. But that 40s, it was so soothing. And it was like just low singing with people playing instruments. I was out. I was snoring in the car. I might put on some Billie Holiday. But like I said, it's really sad. Like, you really think, and I think about this all the time. Like, I think this stuff's gonna live forever, but it's not going to, you know. These kids don't know about real music. Anytime the Bobby Brown Ghostbusters song comes on, I get emotional and start yelling at people. I'm like, I was there when this came out. You guys, we did the dance. We wore the pants. So sad but true. But the nostalgia just comes from the fact that you remember it, you know? I think about that. Like, and to other people, it's the most lame thing on earth. Or like, I'm obsessed with Slayer. On my other sewing and ranting channel, I put 3 videos that they basically made a mini movie. I'll never forget Nightmare Baby. Watched it and was like, dude, that was intense. But to me, it's just a Slayer video, you know, but their video was really intense. And it takes you through a journey. But to me, it's real music, you know. But somebody else, you know what really hurt my feelings was, and this is when my son was younger, but I was obsessed with Faith No More. And I put it on in the car, and my son looks at me, and he's like, Dad, this is old people music. Do you know, I almost pulled over. And it wasn't to do anything except for cry. Because to me, 1990 was yesterday. But to everybody else, they know it was a long time ago. You know, but to me, I'm still rocking out. I'm still banging my head to this stuff. And he told me the truth. Oh, it hurt my feelings. My son, it hurt he said it to my face too. That's when he was a little guy. Like, he was like 9, 10, or 11 or something like that. He was still little guy status when I can look down at him. But it's true though. My perfect example. My it's kind of bad example because I do listen to Johnny Horton and all that other stuff. My father was obsessed with Wilson Pickett. I don't listen to Wilson Pickett. Matter of fact, you put a Wilson Pickett song on, I'm like, oh Lord, we got to start doing yard work. So it's generational. I listen to almost everything, but I definitely have my limit with 80s stuff. Eventually, I get depressed listening to it. Don't know why. You know what? I agree. The 80s did have the weird tone. I agree with you on that. No, I agree with you on that because I've been driving the RAV4 lately, and the radio I can't flip through the stations like my Flex, and I was feeling something listening to the 80s station. I was in the car like, and then they played time after time, and I'm in the car like, if you look and you love and you find. I was like crying in the car. That is true. 80s music does get you. 9/11 was just 7 years ago, right? Right. Oh, man. It feels like it's something, but that's the thing about like time, you know, that's the cruel thing about time. I constantly talk about my pops because he was my road dog, but after my accident, I took a picture of him, and he was like directing everybody, telling everybody where to put my truck because it was just a heap of metal at that point. And I sent him the picture, and the next day at work, he looked at me and he's like, I got old. And I was like, what are you talking about? But eventually, you will still feel this way when you're older. You just won't look the same way how you do now. I've sobbed time after time, many times. It caught me, Kilroy. It caught me. I don't know what it was. I was in the car like time after time. Like, oh man, it got me last weekend. It did. Or this weekend. That it and there was a few songs leading up to it. I don't know what time after time. Oh wow, I was raised mostly on quartet. I I had a neighbor who was in the barbershop quartet. You know what? I bet he still does it. That's so funny. They would dress up with the suits and they all had mustaches. They all looked alike too. Oh. Now I have time after time in my head. You know what? That's funny. Does modern, I try not to harp on modern music because, even today, while streaming, I heard a song that I'd never heard before and I added it to my playlist. And it's something that's more modern. Is there a song that invokes just utter and complete emotion out of you? Like Bohemian Rhapsody. It doesn't make me cry, but okay. We Are the Champions. If I'm having a bad day, I will start crying. I love that song. Is there a song that just gets you? There's a few. Like Amazing Grace played by the bagpipes. I will start crying. Bohemian Rhapsody pisses me off way overplayed. I think it's because I was obsessed with Wayne's World when it came out. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Oh, you just reminded me of Stevie Ribbon in the Sky. If I'm not in a safe place, that song will make me cry every time. Ribbon in the Sky grabs me. Oh, same time. Now I have that song in my head. Oh, I'm trying to think. There's a few songs like that. You know what? And this is cheesy, and you can laugh at me, and you need to point and laugh at me at this one. But I catch feelings from the Bodyguard song still to this day with Whitney Houston. See, but I had a whole thing with Whitney. Like she was another one I watched her whole career. For some reason, that song grabs me every time. All right. We have officially, well, we're almost there, but we have made it to 4 hours. Woof. We didn't crash the minnow. We made it back with Gilligan and the skipper. Now I have a really sad song in my head. Thank you. Somewhere. Oh, man, that song will get you. I want to absolutely thank everybody who has made it through this live stream. Ty, thank you so much. Kilroy, Alibaba, anybody who watches this in the future. Skits, Rashawn, thank you for coming through. You guys are absolutely appreciated. I would not be here sitting here wolfing without you guys. So I absolutely thank you. We made it for 4 hours. I will be back at it on Wednesday, making something crazy. You know what? I probably am going to make the red sequin hammer pants. I think it's time. Butterfly voted for that, so I think it's definitely time. I will be back at it on Wednesday. I absolutely think you guys make this stream, you do. You make it fun. So I thank you. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. This has been a journey, and now I have a really sad song in my head. But I will see you on Wednesday on the other side of the rainbow. Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time. Have a great night, everybody.